Be, 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 be,
Everybody, welcome back to the Hollow Knight Marauders podcast and Hollow Knight Marauders Live. Another day, another shift here at Hollow Knight Marauders. But yeah, I'm AJ, joined here by my bomb bad rebels on Yelvin 4, Jimmy and Matt.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay.
How you guys doing?
I'm soaking in
well.
that intro. That's the last time you'll ever see that, unless you rewatch the videos on our YouTube channel.
It's going into the archives.
It's going into the archives, and I have to keep from now on. I guess I'm going to have to keep my ears out every single time they release a new show for like the theme. Then, because I know I have to remember it, and then I have to hum it.
You're going to be
the
the
whole
guy.
production.
Just you. Only
just
you.
me. Apparently, it's just me.
Only you.
It turned into one-man band Matt for that.
It's
One man. One
everyone
band.
likes it though. Hello, everybody.
Come to be expected. So I'll give the people what they want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're joined here to talk about Andor. I don't want to say we're talking about Andor one final time because I almost did that in all the promotions because we'll probably talk about Andor again at some point
Never.
In
fact, I'm going to forget the show after this.
In some fashion. That would be a tragedy.
It will.
But
no, we'll definitely talk about it again at some point. We'll do some kind of like retrospective.
But it's not the same. Like this is the last time we're breaking down an episode.
Exactly.
The day, 2 days after it airs or whatever it is at this point. But yeah, so we're here to talk about the Andor season 2 finale, the grand finale of the whole show, episodes 10, 11, 12. And I can't believe it's over. Like I knew it was going to come quick because it was 4 weeks of this. And the beauty of it, 3 episodes worked at a time. It really did. It was good. But it went by so fast. And I
warmed up to the 3 episode structure a lot more than I thought I would. But I was really not happy with that at first. I get it.
It would have been nice if they gave us 24 episodes or something.
Well,
because it would have lasted 8 weeks. Yeah, rather than 4. So
yeah.
But I don't know. It's over now. I mean, we're starting this out on a sad note. Sorry, I had to clear my throat.
It's over. It's done.
I'm upset.
Me too.
But let's do some. We don't usually do this, but let's go around the table, give some initial thoughts before we get into the weeds of the show here. But Matt, we'll start with you, I guess. What were your initial thoughts of the finale? I haven't really even talked to you about it, so
I know we really haven't. No, I really liked it. I didn't think it was as strong as last week's arc. I don't think a lot of people were saying that the first episode was just as good as like the last 3 episodes last week. I really liked the first episode, but I didn't think it was like, whoa, it didn't like blow me away. I loved young Luthen was funny. Yeah. I love when they do that with actors where they just make them look younger by cutting their hair. Just style their hair differently.
Full shave, cut their hair.
Full shave, yep.
Looking fresh.
Is that okay? I guess I'll save this question for when we actually discuss the episode. But my initial thoughts are that it was pretty much a flawless way to end the show. It was perfect. I mean, I expected it to lead right into Rogue One. I hadn't watched Rogue One in 2.5 years. Ever since Andor season 1 released, and Tony Gilroy said specifically that the final episode of season 2 would lead directly into Rogue One, I decided not to watch Rogue One until the finale of Andor. And if anybody knows me in Rogue One, that's a big sacrifice. That's a big ask because I love Rogue One. So I was super hyped for this, and I think it delivered.
Yeah. That's those are good takes across the board. Jamie, what were your opening thoughts on the finale?
I mean, I loved it. I agree as well that like the only downside was we were restricted in the sense of we knew how it was going to end until we knew that they had to have that bit of an ending. But I do love how they gave us an ending for the most part for all of the characters that we were introduced to or expanded upon across the series. I know that a lot of people like shed a lot of tears for the finale just because it was a finale and whatnot. But I gotta say, the end of episode 10 absolutely did me in. Like that was like probably the most emotional moment in the show for me. And it's been like a heavy like week like for like myself, like as it is. And it just like hit so hard for me. And so like just
Damn.
which is like wild because I know everyone previously was like, yeah, Gorman was like their favorite episode and whatnot. I really think that like episode 10 was like my favorite episode of like Star Wars TV ever. So just like to throw that out there as my opening take.
After I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't think episode 10 was as good as last week, and you're like, I think episode 10 is the best.
So good.
Yeah. No, I agree with both of you, I guess, in sense. Well, I agree more with
That's
Jamie.
paradoxical, AJ.
I agree more with
can't-
Jamie in sense. I think episode 10 was on par with last week's. I mean, I think last week's was like an inch better, or just a tad better. But episode 10 was awesome because it was literally spy vibes to the max. With Clea having to go into the hospital and all that, and getting Luthen's backstory. I mean, Luthen is probably my favorite character of the whole show. Like he was the glue of this show. Like he was like the serious
Luthen
tones, but he was
Rail.
also
What did you say? Sorry, I actually missed it.
I said Gluthen Rail
Luthen Rail.
because he called him the glue of the show. All right.
So,
Thank you. I'll be
right.
here all week.
all right. Where's the outro here? All right, see you, everybody. So yeah, episode 10 was great. And yeah, Luthen's been like my favorite character of the whole show, I guess. There's so many good characters in the show, but whenever he's on screen, whether as Wig Luthen or as like badass Luthen, or like grouchy Luthen, or whatever you want to call him, they're both. It's two characters essentially in one, but literally. But it's so good, and we got his finale of his arc, obviously because he died, and it was great. It was great the way with the knife and everything. We'll get into it later with Dedra, and like that was awesome. So like,
I really do want to talk about that because I'm impressed.
Of course, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
I'd
were
like
our
to talk
opening
about Andor.
takes. There was something else I wanted to comment on. Something you said, Matt. I don't know. What'd you say again? What were your thoughts?
I don't know. I thought it was a perfect way to end the show.
Yeah. So last week, I think last week as a whole was much stronger of a week, obviously, than this one. Like this was a good finale. Finales are tough, but we knew where it was going to lead. And did that hurt it or did that help it? It works. And then if you watch Rogue One right after, it's really cool. And that was the whole point. But I do have some qualms that I'll get into later. But I guess let's just kick things off and get into it, right? So Luthen's arc. Luthen's arc was kind of where I wanted to start because that's kind of episode 10 is all about Luthen. And Jamie and I seem to love these episodes or of TV or Star Wars TV where like the thing doesn't focus on the main character for the whole episode. And Matt, I think you've been in that bunch too in the past where like the Bad Batch, like there's an episode following someone else or
so like my favorite episode of season 1 was the Hera episode, that kind of thing.
which is, as in, for me, like that's up there too, but not to talk about Bad Batch. We could, but we're here for Andor today.
Hey, they brought it up, not me.
That's true. As you're wearing the Bad Batch hoodie.
Always.
But yeah, this was an episode of just following Luthen, and the opening was awesome because I didn't know like Luthen's theme that well, but I looked at it after, and they played Luthen's theme mixed with Cassian's theme. I think in that the opening, this show is just so brilliant with its opening themes in each. It's like the simplest title reveal or whatever you want to, the opening credit, but like the theme is different each week in all 24 episodes of the show, I think,
except for the last one.
Pretty much the same.
Yes. The
last one is the first one, which I was
brilliant.
Like, whoa, that was awesome.
Poetry.
I was so pumped about that. Rhymes. It's all about.
And we'll get to the credit music too later of the finale, but
yeah.
So we start with Luthen, and I don't quite remember like where it starts, but I know we get the news from Lonnie, our boy Lonnie on the inside on the ISB.
I don't want to talk about it.
He gets knowledge of something big, and he wants Luthen to promise him like safety and to get out of there. And Luthen mentions Yavin, and we find out that he used Dedra's credentials to get into the system, and he finds out about a weapon, the Death Star. He finds out about a weapon the Empire's using, the Death Star, and are planning, obviously. And that's the thing. That's the whole thing we've been building towards, and that's gonna take us right into Rogue One with this arc, which sets the tone But what do you guys think of all that?
I really like the lineage of people telling other people about the Death Star and then immediately getting murked. So like Lonnie
yeah.
is like, "Oh, Luthen, it's the Death Star," and he's like, "Oh crap!" And then Luthen turns around and is like, "Clea, it's the Death Star," and then he's like, "Ugh." And then like, yeah, and it keeps going. Like Tivik is like, "Oh, they're building a weapon. It's the Death Star," and then Cassian's like, "Okay," and then he shoots him. Like literally every single time somebody learns about the Death Star, somebody has to get murked. I really wish it
Yeah.
wasn't Lonnie. That actually really hurt me.
The moment that
couldn't believe
Luthen
they
literally
did
was
that.
like, the moment Luthen literally was like, "Oh, the place is Yavin," I was like, "Lonnie's
Yeah.
not leaving this planet.
No,
He
and,
is not getting out of here."
I mean,
No,
when they gave him the pistol, that was enough for me to be like, oh my god, like if they're meeting with Lonnie, like he's really not going to let Lonnie live. I was extremely disappointed because I think that, like all the other things, I think can be justified to a certain extent for the greater good, but I think murdering Lonnie was a step too far. I think that might have breached over the line of going from heroes who are morally questionable to like villain behavior. That's villain behavior. I'm
For
sorry.
yeah,
Luthen?
because like
Yeah, Luthen
Lonnie
did not need to kill Lonnie.
No, it
Lonnie
was a very
also,
Saw
like-
Gerrera move.
he also
Yeah.
like leads off with, "Oh, I need protection for like myself, my wife, and my kid, like as well. Don't forget, like
No, they're screwed. There's
They
no
probably
that
get
also-
off. They're arrested or something.
There is
Yeah.
no reason he can't put Lonnie somewhere. I'm sorry.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
after everything Lonnie's been through, I feel like he can be trusted.
And then he gets
maybe I'm
murdered on
crazy.
in a public park, and a loth cat discovers the
Loth
body. Like,
Also, his name's Lonnie Young. I've been calling him Lonnie Jung this whole time.
it's spelled with a J, but yeah,
yeah.
Young.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Young, like Carl Jung, the psychologist. But I never thought they were actually like going for that, which I find really funny. But yeah, completely murked. They didn't need to do that to poor old Lonnie.
No. I don't know. Do I think it, from Luthen's point of view, do I think it was the right move? I mean, you don't want to. You've gotten so far. You don't want to risk everything now. Us three watching it as like nice people. You know, we're not in it like Luthen is. Luthen
It's
is
true.
hardcore. Like, you know,
It's true.
It's the point of the thing. If something gets out and it gets blown at this point, I mean,
Maybe
I guess
I'm
I don't blame
naive.
him. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, as much as I want to say, I don't think that he had to kill him. He definitely had to kill him because, like, Luthen at that point knew it was like the point of no return, and like the information that Lonnie was trying to give to him was so sensitive and so important. Luthen sitting there like, there's no way we can get this guy off the planet as well. I think that was also like what Luthen was thinking about, because like he would have had to
Also-
organize that transportation for this guy that risked everything. No way. There was no way he was going to be able to get him off the planet.
Amateur move from Lonnie. Get me to where I want to go, and I will tell you everything you want to hear.
Exactly. He let it slip early.
Why are you telling Luthen everything?
You guys are saying he wasn't going to rat anyone out, and he probably wasn't. But Luthen doesn't trust anyone. He didn't even trust himself. He kills himself. He's afraid he's going to give information away.
I mean,
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't know what technology the Empire might have to like. Bix never gave anything up back in the day when she got tortured with that machine, but maybe they have some sort of truth serum. I mean, they can't trust anything, so it's.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like Luthen
He kills himself too.
Yeah, Luthen
after.
kills himself just to end the Axis trail at him. You know.
Because Dedra was convinced, and we'll get to that, I guess, now or whatever. But Dedra was convinced she was still going to get the information out of Luthen until you know, Kreia, wrong Star Wars story. Clea has to go in the hospital and pull the plug, pull the tube essentially. Because
I mean, how did she not see that coming? You really think like this guy isn't going to off himself if you if you confront him? Are you crazy?
She didn't think he was going to be that crazy to do that. That's what it was. She just did not think he was going to be that crazy. She also was just going off of the intel, going off of everything that she's stolen in order to get there. She still didn't have like an actual like read on him until it was actually like in person. So
poor Gullet moonlighting as an Imperial interrogator.
We'll know the truth.
Yeah, I could see Lonnie cracking. So like we feel bad. Of course, we all feel bad for Lonnie, but it was unfortunately the right thing to do. And
Crack under torture. He
But
was. We were just
it
meeting on a
wasn't-
bench. Take him with you. Go somewhere.
was on
If
the
he gets
bench.
captured, then you kill him.
all of that being said, though, his information is what sparked all of this.
Yeah.
Due to his efforts, it sparked the rebellion.
Lonnie
and
was a
actually
real
getting
one.
the knowledge about
Lonnie,
the Death
it
Star
can-
in the first
yeah,
place.
That's
So
all of it. I mean, I find it
put in
really
that work.
funny that like Andor and everybody are like, Luthen did this, Luthen did that. It's like Lonnie did that, dude.
yeah, they don't know the
Lonnie.
full scope. Like
No
they
one
don't
ever
know
does.
all of it. Yeah.
He
And
was
no
killed
one
on a
ever
park
will.
bench.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole thing, though. Like, there's the whole story of Andor and of Rogue One is the faceless heroes.
I know.
Like,
Well,
none of these people. Luke Skywalker has his name on the memorial or the plaque. Like, he blows up the Death Star and gets credit.
I couldn't
Like,
help
none
but
of these
think
guys
that.
get credit.
Last night I watched A New Hope, and during the medal sequence, I'm sitting there and I'm like, all of the sacrifice, all of the awful things that Luthen and everybody had to do, everybody who had to sell their soul, everybody who died and lost everything, all of this fighting and like hardship and sacrifice. And these two bozos are getting a medal. Han, who just walked into the rebellion, and friggin' Luke, who just walked right into the
I know.
rebellion. These two bozos are the ones getting the friggin' awards. I mean,
That's what it's all
hilarious.
about. And that's what it's all
Of
about.
course,
And
of course.
Luthen's whole great monologue is about that too. So
Yeah, nobody cares about credit.
Saw said the same a few weeks ago to Will.
You can't help but wonder where Mon is during the medal ceremony, though. Obviously, I wish they had explained. Maybe I mean that's Rogue One's fault more than anything. Where the hell Mon is during the medal ceremony? Where is
That is so. There's a tough thing with like it reminds me of like Red Dead because you get for people that know Red Dead, you get Arthur's story in Red Dead 2, and Red Dead 1 obviously was made before and it takes place after. They don't mention Arthur. It's the same thing here where like there's Vel and all these great characters at the end. Like there's Bix, there's
Will.
Leia. Like we don't hear about them because Rogue One was already made. So like it's frustrating when you get a really good prequel to match its predecessor. But
yeah.
But where do we leave off here? Clea.
Well, they just killed
Luthen.
Lonnie.
They just
Luthen's
killed
gone
Lonnie.
back, and Luthen just killed Luthen, or tried to kill Luthen.
Well, we
I
haven't
wanna-
really talked about the shop and like Dedra.
We got to
just
talk about the
showing
shop.
up.
yeah.
Jamie,
so-
talk about the shop.
So like I love how Dedra, we find out later, she picked the day that Hurt was out of office to just like launch this plan. Cause like he was the one in charge of Axis and she was like, all right, I am ready. I'm gonna go do the most evil shit possible and take the credit for it because
sucks,
it's
dude.
my project and I want my name on it. And like, okay, good for her. But at the same time, she should have been following the protocol.
I know.
Oh yeah,
and she
completely.
didn't.
The irony of her telling him, "Oh, I'll let you take all the glory. I just want
Like,
to catch Axis." Blah blah. Blah.
wild.
Shut up.
Like,
Shut up.
I love how Luthen is burning the radio console and whatnot with this like wild silver liquid. Yeah, and
That was cool.
the bell rings and he just has the look of horror on his face because he's like, oh my god, that is her. She is outside of my shop right now. This is it. And I love how their initial interaction is just like they're both beating around the bush of being like, oh, I haven't seen you down here before. Oh, I've always wanted to come down and check out the shop. I've heard a lot about it. Oh, have you? I mean, I don't know who you are. And then at the same time, it's like, I know who you are. What are you doing here? What do you do? What's going on actually? What do you actually want? And then she
I like
takes out the Star Path unit.
Oh yeah, that was big. I liked
like,
the innuendo of like, oh, there are two fake things in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like all the double speak that they're doing.
That's
I didn't
so
pick up on
good.
that's really good. Wow.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's like a verbal dance.
That whole scene was a
repartee.
masterclass. As,
Oh yeah, completely.
As they say. But like it reminded me of something like I don't know. I couldn't help but think of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Like that. It was that type of scene where like you have these two, not villains, but you have these two major characters in the series just meeting, and they're putting on a thing, and then they realize like, oh wait, I guess it reminded me of like
It was very Gus and
pitching
Walter in
Heisenberg.
public when they have to
Uh-huh.
be their other match, when they have to be
yeah.
like their public appearances and not their illegal appearances. It was very, very similar to that.
Yeah, it just it rang one of those bells in my head from one of those shows. But just
I know
when she puts down, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Well, just when she puts down the Star Path, it takes you back to the first arc of the whole show,
Mhm.
And just putting that down, it's like, okay, Luthen's like, oh, the gig is up.
He's
Or
like,
the jig is
The
up.
jig is up.
all right.
The gig is also
The
up.
gig is up and the jig is up. It's
Yeah.
both. I mean,
And,
I know from like the moment the bell rings, he knows that his bell is rung. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, the
know,
moment
there
he
is
looks
no
through those
getting out of
windows and
this.
sees her, he's like, that's it.
why-
All right. What's the plan?
Why even bother answering the door? Finish pouring the liquid goo. Destroy everything you need to do. Just tell her like, oh, I'm taking a dump or something, and just go take care of your stuff. Then, blow yourself up or something. That's what I would have
So
done.
I thought he was gonna. I don't know what you guys thought was coming, but
I thought he was gonna blow himself up.
I didn't know he was gonna stab himself. I thought the whole place was just gonna blow up. Dedra with him.
I don't
And
get how he did not rig his entire shop to just explode. Like
It would have been great.
I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, that would have been a lot more collateral losses around, so that's probably why he
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
'cause,
Luthen doesn't
like,
care about that.
Collateral losses.
I mean, he probably cares a little bit.
Say his
Luthen wouldn't
name.
care if all of Coruscant collapsed. Like,
Lonnie Young.
This is true.
But
This is
yeah, the show's brilliant because Matt, you said Luthen's kind of like a villain earlier, and he kind of is.
Yeah.
He's very extreme, like Saw, and Saw does awful things as well. And
It's why he's been abandoned by the rebellion at
Yeah.
large,
And I like how this show shows us how like bad the rebellion can be. Like you have to do,
Yeah.
in times
Doesn't
of
pull its
war and all this
punches.
stuff. You have to do bad things to get there. You have to go in the muck with the enemy there to, not I don't want to say stoop to their level, but in some cases
Yeah,
they kind of
I had
have.
to do that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
unfortunate, but it's realistic, I
Yeah.
suppose. There is room for idealism in Star Wars, but there's also room for non-idealism in Star Wars, for realism, if you will.
I know. What do you think? Like this just popped into my head, but like, what do you think George is like watching this show?
This is definitely not George Lucas's Star Wars. I will
Right.
I will say that outright. That doesn't make it a bad thing. I
Right.
love George Lucas Star Wars. I love the silly, goofy, mythological, political stuff that doesn't go
Absolutely.
like too deep into politics, but it's like very like, liberal democracy, this, that, and the other. I can appreciate that till the cows come home. I think George probably really likes this. I know he really liked Rogue One.
Yeah.
Tony
even
Gilroy
Rogue One
released
is a
an
bit-
interview. I mean, yeah,
A bit more of that classic George than this. Like this is another level, of course.
sure. I mean, we got tastes of the rebellion telling Cassian to assassinate
Right.
Galen. That's a stupid move, by the way. I was thinking about it while we were watching it. I'm like, why the hell would you ever tell him to do that? The thing's already done. Just try to capture him so you can like figure it out if he's the one with the whatever. And at the beginning when he kills Tivik, that really hurt me in 2016. It still hurts me now. I feel bad for Tivik. I get
It's
why
a
he
big
does it.
time, big time Luthen move. It's like
It's a big time
it's the same
Luthen
thing.
move.
Yeah.
So Rogue One has those moments, those like moral ambiguity, rebellion moments, and George liked that. So, and
Yeah.
he wanted to make Underworld more mature. You're right, KG.
Just a random thought I had though.
I would
like,
say he
I
probably really likes it. I know he liked
No-
Obi-Wan Kenobi the most, which
No
I think
EOP
is
farts, though.
hilarious. No EOP farts. There's
Mhm.
EOP farts, I think, in Obi-Wan Kenobi, so that's probably why he likes it the most. No
Yeah,
EOP
there you
farts
go.
in Andor, though.
It probably wasn't silly enough for him. So
Probably not.
But he probably loved it for, as you say there, the cinematography and the war history and just
That's
like
a
the
good point.
deeper side of it. It's definitely I would say he probably enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I
I
don't.
without a doubt he probably liked it.
I don't
lot,
think he's
so.
sitting there going like, "Oh, this is awful. They're ruining my Star Wars."
I don't think he would really think that for any of the Star Wars projects.
He really. I don't
honestly.
think he
Like,
has
Yeah.
either. He's
he's-
kind of chill.
He
Now
knows like
he
what it
has.
is.
He's
He's just
mellowed
like, I
out.
created this world and I'm like people are making their stuff. All right. Like I feel like that's just like the point of view at this point. Guy is 81 years old. Like happy birthday, man. Like just like
It's true, dude.
It's
Happy
not-
birthday, George.
there it
That
goes.
was like 2 days
So-
ago.
Yeah.
Man, my
Did you
man.
guys watch? Did you guys watch his Turner Classic interview on Empire Strikes Back with
Not
Jamie and I
yet.
did?
It was so good.
was good.
So
Yeah.
they had the showing. It was of Empire, right? On
Yeah.
Turner. So
For the
Turner Classic
45th
Movies
anniversary, yeah.
did a in-person showing of Empire. Yeah, and the main host from Turner Classic Movies, Ben Mankiewicz, interviewed George
Ben.
for like 25 minutes. Yeah, and
Joel Ben.
it's the best
Joel
interview I've ever seen because Ben is trying his hardest to just like ask a question, and George is just going on.
they
And
can't.
going on.
I
and
don't feel
going
bad
on.
because George Lucas can't stay on the rails, so I
No,
don't feel bad
it's
when we can't.
yeah. It's very on brand. It's such a good interview. It got to the point where like literally Ben Mankiewicz is like, all right, I have one question only. Why does Yoda speak backwards?
And then George was like, because people
like-
can
you
pay
know.
attention to him. I know that.
No,
Yeah.
that was the answer. Yeah. Then
Yeah,
he talked
yeah.
about that for like 10 minutes, and it was like, God. But like it was a great interview. So
It was
great.
Go
lot of
check it out
fun.
after this if you can. But
I might settle down and check that out.
so back to the story. Luthen's getting, evac'd out of there. Med
Mhm.
flighted to Lena So Memorial Hospital.
Lena So Memorial Hospital. Where
Look
the
at that.
hell did that come from?
Who do you think
That's
I'm
put that
looking
in
at that
there?
writing and I'm like, oh, that has to mean something. I can't translate Arabesh off the top of my head. I want to learn how to do that someday.
Oh, great.
But I'm like, I got to
work.
just Google this afterwards. Couldn't
Like,
believe it.
That's nuts. Still,
Who do you
it's
think was
still
the story
expanding.
group person to include that in? Was it Phil? Phil, are you here?
Phil,
Can we put up the Phil signal?
yeah, let's activate the
But-
Phil signal for that one.
Oh my
It
god.
was.
I
it
couldn't
was such
believe
a
it.
great
I
pull.
loved it.
The
yeah.
strongest High Republic reference in any Star Wars thing other than the Acolyte, of course. And it's in it's in friggin' Andor. Get the
And
hell out of
Survivor.
here.
Survivor.
So good.
Well, yeah, I'm
Talking
talking about
TV.
the shows. Yeah, I
Gotcha,
was talking
gotcha.
more about the shows or like
That's fine.
movies.
just
So,
like a visual reference,
unbelievable.
not even
Yeah.
discussed, not important to the plot. Lena So Memorial Hospital. That's where she got her
Okay.
leg fixed.
Yep, there you go. Probably.
so we get Clea watching all this, and she's upset. And we've wondered what Clea and Luthen's relationship has been this whole time. The past few weeks, because Clea has been really more focused on this season for good reason. She's an awesome character. She might be my favorite character of the season, maybe. Top 2 or 3. But then we finally get flashbacks. Tony Gilroy told us we were going to get Luthen's origin story sort of at some point. This was the last
know.
arc.
I didn't
So we-
believe him because we
I
were
know,
at the
I
last
was like,
arc and I'm like, Tony,
When
when are we getting it? Come on, buddy.
So, Jamie, I know this was like your favorite thing of maybe the whole series or season at least. Talk a little bit about what you liked about
Well,
the flashbacks with Clea and Luthen.
The full episode was, but I adored the flashback, and I love how they managed to do it. Of just Luthen is a soldier, just a foot soldier in some like probably late Clone Wars, early Empire type of conflict. And he just finds a kid. He just finds a kid and is like, I'm not gonna kill this kid, because if you're like listening really closely to like the radio chatter, it sounds like whatever Luthen's unit was doing is they were killing civilians, just like straight up. And he
Yeah.
was just like,
Yeah.
that's the name of the episode, is Make It Stop. Because he's like, this, I can't do it, make it stop. But he finds Clea, although who knows what her original name was, but it's Clea. And I love how they did like the little shitty like point of view of like Clea looking through
know.
the vents
I
and
was-
everything. It was super unique and not really like used in like the show, and so it was just good.
Took me a
Um,
second to catch on because I'm like, is the cameraman falling asleep?
Yeah.
What are you doing? 'Cause it
I
was
mean,
like-
you could kind of tell that it
where are
was
you
like something in the walls, like watching,
Yeah.
and so
then I
loved
immediately
that.
thought of you because you're the POV shot fiend. You're the Star Wars POV shot fiend.
My favorite shot in Star Wars is the one in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's 3 POV of Anakin walking around his room, and it's like literally like.
Add that to the list of POV shots. We've
There
got
we
like
go.
5 of them in all of Star Wars. And
It's
I'm
so
like,
good.
oh, this is it.
Um,
We're witnessing history.
Yeah, and so and he just defects, and he decides to just do like the relic hunting and selling the relics, and he forms this relationship with Clea to like care for her pretty much as like a daughter. And he says to her, only when it's useful you'll be my daughter, but it's fully your choice as well of what you want to do. And it's just, he gives her the choice, but he immediately trusts her and also tries to guide her, and it just sets the tone for, they have a strong relationship, but also like a really confusing one, because Clea is also in this fight since she was like very small.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
not
she's
like
the
one
real.
of
I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
the, yeah, exactly.
The hell are you talking about, Cassian?
I know.
Seriously. But they move along. She witnesses like a public execution on a
Yeah.
gorgeous planet, like absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous planet. I don't
like
think it
that
was
planet
Naboo
with the
yet, but
castles. No.
the she witnesses the oppression firsthand, and it's not like her own people like getting like wiped out. It's just random people chained up, and they don't know why.
You know who else
She doesn't
witnessed
even
the
like
oppression?
flinch.
The guy behind her.
there was like a funny guy sitting like
Oh,
right
yeah.
behind
funny,
her
silly,
wearing a
goofy
hat.
alien. Dude, it was so good because I'm laughing my ass off and it's such a serious moment. But I'm looking at this guy and he's like, he's like a little sock puppet alien, like
That's Star
shrinking.
Wars. It's the
I'm
most.
like,
You're literally
"Ah."
watching a public execution, and there's just a funny little guy in the
Yeah,
background. Like,
Funny little guy.
what is this? Um,
So,
and yeah,
okay.
they move
I want
along.
to talk about the battle that Luthen defects from.
Yeah.
Is that
that.
Mimban? Is that during the Mimban campaign? Did he
So, like-
say he was on Mimban with Cassian? Remember he talks to
Yeah.
Cassian. He's like, "You were on Mimban." I don't know if he says we.
In
I don't
like
know if he
episode
says he was
4 or
there.
something.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
might
yeah.
have been. That would make sense.
It would
'cause
line
there
up
was-
timeline wise.
There was like always an ongoing conflict on Mimban. Also, like
Yeah, I
Mimban
mean,
was
legit.
just like straight up always under siege, in some way, shape, or form. And that would like check out. Phil,
Oh,
Ah,
Phil,
Phil.
we've been missing
Wow,
you.
we could summon you with just by saying your name. Wow, dude.
oh my
Don't
God.
give us that power.
Part of
Don't
the
give
Yoda
us that
fountain.
power.
Hear me out about the wasn't Mimban Mud Trooper. It looked super Mud Trooper.
Just
and-
saying.
Yeah,
and
Walker
so just
mentioned
saying.
it here.
But yeah. So like, and like Solo. Andor has utilized the variants of the Mud Trooper armor extensively, and so
Big
like we
time.
don't know like
All
if
over
it
the
really
place.
was like Mimban, but I would love if it was, because that's like a fascinating place of the constantly being under siege over literally nothing. There is nothing on that planet. It's just always
Yeah.
under siege.
Well, it's just
bunch
it's
of mud.
literally them, the Mimbanese, not wanting to submit to the Empire, so we have to crush them and we have to conquer this world that has absolutely no resources for us.
I guess my only question is, why would Clea be there? Because she's human and
Hey,
she's
why
not
would-
Mimbanese.
Why would Chewbacca be there?
That's true.
Hanging
Why would he
around.
be there? I don't know.
What's going on, Scott?
That's
See,
true.
Yeah,
this is my question as well. That she's not Mimbanese, but like I think that one
Was
of
it the
those things,
Mimban
but
campaign 10 BBY? Isn't Solo 10 BBY, or is that a little earlier?
As I said, there's always a conflict on
Yeah,
Mimban.
yeah, I
like
know.
there's like battles in the Clone Wars on Mimban for the same reason, except they're fighting on the other side.
So
like
do we know? I mean, we don't know anything but this, but like, was Luthen on like the Imperial side in that, or could it have just been some other like civil war going on some planet?
I think Luthen was an Imperial.
I think it was
Okay.
Imperial as well.
That's what I thought too, but it was hard to. I don't know. It
'Cause
was kind of hard
the-
to tell.
The other soldiers that run on are in like Imperial gear of some
Yeah.
kind. So yeah, it was some sort of Imperial business. And he just wanted out. So Yeah,
No, that's I couldn't help because I'm a dumb resistance head. But I couldn't help but think about Captain Doza. Same kind of situation where he was like a high-ranking Imperial captain who maybe defected, maybe 90% certain that the Lena So Memorial Hospital was Pablo. I
love
could
how,
see that.
I love how
wanna
he
know
went
how-
back to like check.
I
what
want to know
the question
how
was.
Phil knew
That's good.
But I
Like,
love
to come
that
to come into
reference.
our chat. Did we summon? Did we summon Phil?
we
He was
we
told.
I think, like I said, we have that power now. We have to use it
Lucasfilm, if
responsibly.
you're watching, and I know you are.
I think we might
Apparently.
be in the walls at Lucasfilm somehow.
Well,
I'm
Phil,
certainly
thank
in
you.
the walls
Thank
of
you for
Lucasfilm.
showing up. We're happy you're
Thank you.
here.
Yeah, it's nice to see
Um,
you again.
So Clea watching a firing squad. She didn't even like flinch watching.
She
that thing.
wanted to see it. Yeah, she
Yeah.
wanted to know what was going on. She wanted to witness it, and yeah, she wanted to. And
Yeah.
yeah, the young actress who played her was fantastic. Just so good. And then we move on to Naboo.
Yeah.
Naboo, couldn't
Naboo
believe
question mark.
It was Naboo. Not
It was
explicitly
Naboo.
said, and then I think explicitly
it.
said.
I'm pretty sure it's
afterwards.
confirmed.
Um,
It's Naboo.
so good.
Yeah,
That scene was great at
In
the
which
little
he
cafe
gives-
or whatever.
He gives her the further choice of
that
this
ice cream
something
looked
that
delicious.
Oh,
I just want to point that out, dude.
the
Right?
cafe. The
He's
little,
like, "You're not
little-
eating," and I'm like, "What is she crazy? Eat it. It looks delicious."
There's a lot of stress going on. Okay, I love how like Luthen literally was like, "All right, we're here. The plan is we're gonna like blow up a few tanks over there, but if you can have this dessert too if you want." So like, let's
Yeah.
because I'm a cool dad.
What do you think their mission was? Like, do you think they were taking out some sort of? I told you the theory I saw someone mention about taking out Moff Panaka. But there's another
there's
that is
another
the case,
canon-
It would have to be a retcon because we know the date of Moff
Yeah.
Panaka's death, and it's like 3 years before A New Hope.
know. It isn't an explosion though, but I guess that's a lot of people. So
I think that they were just causing a little,
Well, destroying
uproar.
a
Just
bridge and a
destruction.
bunch of transports tells us that that's, a transport route that they're disrupting. Which is, yeah, I mean, it's causing chaos, but it's probably a little more,
Yeah.
what's the word? Concentrated than that. Like there seems to be a purpose other than just like, I'll blow it up and kill Imperials.
Yeah, no, I think they're probably targeting someone. But do you think that was their like first quote unquote mission that they've done?
Probably.
As like
that.
publicly revealing, probably. Yeah, I would say so. Definitely the first one, which Luthen was like, all right, I'm getting you involved. Because he probably tried to do like some on his own and then was like, all right, if you want to do this, continue on with me. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the way they did it too with like, don't look. All right, now look to blend in.
Yeah.
Like that
was brilliant.
Classic spy, espionage type.
Though I do find it funny that like the explosion happens and then he goes, now look, but like the explosion already happened. They would have been looking already. They would have been freaking the hell out.
They tried. I don't think anyone noticed.
It's good enough. Nobody noticed.
Yeah.
They held up their secrecy for a while longer, so I think it worked. But yeah, and that's it for the flashbacks, right? That was the last flashback we see.
Yeah.
Of them. But at this point, Clea is, sneaking into the hospital. And Jamie said to me during this whole thing was like, do you think Clea is going in to save him or to kill him? And I was like 50-50 either way, but I was like, knowing this show, probably to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
ultimately
like
what happened. But
like the way that everything is like set up with the show that they have this relationship of he saved her in the past. So it does pose the question of was her intent to save him or to kill him? And I think I felt like strongly as well that she probably was going in to end it, so that way he wouldn't,
There was never a moment in that entire episode that I thought she was trying to save him. I always figured that she was just going into that hospital to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I literally just checked the Discord and I'm like, we got to get this in. We got to get this.
Now you hold it up. My
somewhere.
camera was being weird.
Gluten.
But I can't log into Discord on my phone. It's funky. So unfortunately I can't. Yeah, there it is.
Hey.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Pugs.
Thank you, Pugs.
Brilliant, dude. Awesome.
The gluten.
Luthen's Rebellion glue. The gluten.
Oh my god.
The gluten. So yeah, we're in the hospital now, and the hospital was a really cool setting to get in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Not really something we've seen.
No.
And immediately, I like looking at costumes too. Jamie, times 10 likes looking at costumes, but the hospital scrubs were just like the Narkina 5 outfits. So
I'm not even kidding. Like as it started, there was a shot that was included, which was a close up of Clea walking up the stairs, and it was her feet in her shoes. And I literally was just like, "Hold up, is this a play about us?" Because there was so much fuss caused with the stupid Narkina 5 with the no shoes, and then they made a point of showing, "Hey, Clea is wearing socks and she's wearing like clear jelly slip-on shoes." So like they're from the 90s. Like I love seeing that. But yeah, the medical scrubs looked different than what the patients were wearing. The patients looked much more Narkina 5 fabric wise, but the scrubs looked a bit softer, but it's still a lot of texture. The stripes are almost the same. Guys, I'm cooking. I've actually been pretty inspired the last couple of days. I haven't looked up anything, but
you're putting on Lena So Memorial Hospital gear. That's what you're doing now.
Be great.
Hell yeah. Do
Easy.
it. That's awesome.
And there was the patient gear too.
That's true. Oh my god. We got to talk about
Granny. The granny.
Okay. All right. All right. Granny. Humongous deal. Oh my god. What is the name of the ET species? What's the name of the ET species?
Oh, I had to look this up recently a few weeks ago for one of our videos. I can't remember.
Oh my god.
Crap, dude.
Just the moment she showed up.
What is it?
Is that it?
Asogian.
Asogian. Is she an Asogian? She looks
you
just
can ask
like it.
Phil.
Why not? I think that there's a databank page about her already. Hang on.
Look at this face, and then look at ET. It's the same nose. Same skin, same texture.
When we saw Granny, I was like, "Oh, it looks like ET." Yeah,
your first reaction was, "I know what Glup of the Week is gonna be."
Oh yeah,
no
dude,
spoilers.
You texted me.
Actually, you know
texted
what?
me about that.
Matt's mom Facebook
mom.
messaged me
I was
today
just about
saying
to say
my slup of the week, and then said glup.
that. Thank you, Mom.
Um,
No, it's true, dude. So this
Databank does not have her species yet, but her name is Fiza.
the granny
Oh.
aliens were also on Niamos. Holy crap! I
Wow.
didn't know that.
I think
Niamos
I
was a
remember we
gold
saw
mine.
them.
I'll have
You,
to go back.
you guys were obsessed with the guy playing chess. That was like,
Hmm.
Well, what about what about this guy?
Wait, who? Huh?
This guy
That
Yeah,
guy.
we love that guy.
was right here the whole time.
Yeah.
Short little
in the
guy.
hospital
I didn't
now?
know he was that short. He was in the hospital. He was in the hospital in the background. Look at how short he is.
A lot of
Nice.
glups in this hospital, and I
It's not
loved it for that.
It wouldn't be a Marauder stream without Matt holding up the worst picture ever on
have
his
to.
phone.
I
Instead of
have
just, you could just share it on the computer.
The worst
I
picture
don't
of a
have it on
glup
my
you ever
computer. I have it on
seen.
my phone.
Oh my god. But yeah, so we had Clea pushing around Granny in the wheelchair, the hover
Yep.
chair, and she's just dazed and confused. And I just loved how that works because it fit so perfectly. The entire infiltration just went so well for Clea, walking in with like the fake
Perfect.
busted up wrist, going to the locker room, breaking into like random like lockers, finding
morning, 47.
nothing, doing
Dude, straight up. I like how she
Finding the
digs through the
scrubs.
first one and she's like, "What is this stuff?"
There's like a
She's
water
like-
bottle and like
I know,
random
she's like,
garbage. Those lockers were fascinating too. I loved
know.
the design of that room. How they like were like the
What a
spheres.
silly design.
It was so cool.
AJ will
Infiltrating
tell
the
you
hospital.
that granny is a woman after my own heart because she also likes to fill the silence with random doodahs. anytime it gets quiet, I'm always like, dude, like I'm just
Huh?
And she did the same thing.
And I love the Clea just going, what?
What?
It was a nice brief moment of comedy.
Yeah, it was great.
Because it was
awesome.
almost like Clea also came into awareness. Oh my god, I just kidnapped this like grandmother to like on
Dude.
my like quest to go do this.
Granny alien. What an
So
alien.
good.
I know. So Clea, I mean, essentially, makes her way to Luthen, takes out a couple Imperials along the way.
A couple before she even
Yeah.
does that, she does the whole
Explosions.
Yeah, she rigged
yeah.
like 3 of like the medical like hover whatever's there to just explode.
This is a great point. The ISB later on thought it was a team of 3. But
Yes.
it was just Clea.
Which
I'm
is so
glad Clea
funny.
got
What a great detail.
I'm glad she got her moment of like this type of thing, like an agent in the field. She's usually like the
She's the
you
guy
know,
in the chair.
the guy in the
She's just
chair.
chilling-
The guy in
yeah,
the
the
chair.
guy in the
Yeah.
chair. She's just back like getting the intel and like relaying the messages, but she also is like a master planner and fixer. So actually getting to see her perform the full mission was nuts. It was great.
Finally
was.
getting to see her kill Luthen was just very satisfying.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't. It was the whole Mercy killing and taking him.
Oh,
off
yeah,
of the
for
life
sure.
support and everything, and it's just.
Well, you had to take him out. I mean, that's again, we're like back to Lonnie, I guess, to a degree. But
Yeah.
Luthen, I think, is riskier because one, you don't want him to be tortured.
Right.
You definitely
right.
don't want him in Imperial custody because you don't want him to suffer so hard, but you also
Yeah.
don't want them to get any information out of him. So it's a double whammy. You have to do it.
Yeah.
I
All of
really
it.
like this tweet from Darren Mooney that I sent you guys the other day that I want to read. In the end, Andor understands what Star Wars is really about. Turning off your father's ventilator. Very powerful stuff. Very true.
Yeah.
And it has a
it's,
picture of Luke removing Vader's mask. I could
it's very good.
because that was very Vader, like the pump, the chest pump.
Yeah.
Was very Vader-esque. Same kind of sound.
Yeah, that is a good point. But yeah, it's a good post, both like seriously and humorously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's about letting go. Right.
Yeah.
That's
It all goes back to what we've been talking about. The strongest thing that everyone can do is to let go of the ones that they love. Because like Bix did that last week, and then
Yeah.
Leia did that this week as well.
Yeah.
And it was an almost even more difficult decision because she had to make the choice to kill him.
Yeah.
For the sake of the galaxy, though. Yeah,
But-
it was a really rough death, but it was done really, really, really well.
not
and
how I was
the
expecting
final
Luthen
shot.
to go out.
Yeah, the final shot was just just him going to dark, and it was perfect. It was really
Yeah.
perfect, honestly.
It really was. If
For
you had,
for oh,
if
I was
I
gonna
had
say
to
like, just-
guess when I saw him in season 1, that's not how I was expecting him to die. But I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
Because I know we all expected him to die.
yeah.
I don't think anybody's expected him to make it to A New Hope or Rogue One.
I would have figured like some self-sacrifice or something.
Oh, big
but
time! I
not
always
like
thought
this.
it was a
Mm.
self-sacrifice.
Yeah,
and it
not
sort of was.
not self-inflicted wounds, nearly dead, and then getting
Yeah.
saved by the ISB just to get killed by your daughter. Like, oh, what? Oh my god, just end it now.
For all
Like-
the technology that this world has, I still find it funny that like one stab wound and they're like, oh my god, we can barely save him. But we're
I mean-
hacking off like arms and legs, and everybody's like, it's fine. We'll
A
get him a new
classic
one.
knife, well placed, done,
Mm-hmm.
done.
That's true.
So during all this hubbub, Dedra was, overstepped what she was supposed to be doing. To do all this, she thought she was doing the right thing, and she thought she was going to impress everyone, but that backfired because Hirt, was it
Hirt,
Hirt?
what a terrible name.
Hirt is an absolute sleemo.
Oh,
But,
biggest Sleemo. Biggest
you know,
Sleemo around. I love the Sleemos.
He orders for Dedra to be arrested, and next thing we know, she's being interrogated by one and only Director Krennic, which is such a cool scene because he almost feels like a Vader presence to her.
Yeah.
He appears from behind. It almost reminded me of like
Thank
Jedi
you.
Fallen Order with like appearing behind Trilla. It's Vader. It felt like that. You can feel the chill in the room. You can
Yeah.
feel when he puts her weirdly puts his finger on his her
Straight
head.
up.
What was that?
She's like, it's
That
the
was so
thumbnail for the
weird.
stream
I loved
actually,
it.
but
His audition for the Harlem Globetrotters.
it's almost like she's getting like force choked by Vader. Like she's terrified.
Well, I mean,
of this dude because
I couldn't help but compare that scene to Krennic and Vader in Rogue One. I mean, it's really funny. Dedra is like afraid of this dweeb who's about to get the same exact treatment when he visits Vader. Even worse. I mean, it makes you hate Krennic. This show made me hate Krennic so much more than I already did in Rogue One.
Oh, it
Yeah.
made me
my
love
God.
him so much more. What do you mean
no,
hate him?
hate him as in like, holy shit, I hate
Love
this
to
guy.
hate.
Like this guy, yeah,
I
love to hate. This guy
Love
Love
this
to hate
sucks,
him.
guy.
but
Like,
I love him. But he's
I
such
love-
a jerk. Like
I-
he's the biggest jerk around.
I wish he was in the show more.
Me too.
Really.
I thought
Like,
I thought he was
oh
in
my
it.
God.
I
he
thought he was in
was.
it the perfect amount, honestly.
But
I think
yeah,
it was just enough.
So yeah, I wish he was in it more, but I agree. He was in it just enough because since he was like the bigger bad of the ISB, like you want him to be like the end all be all. And I love how it all came down to Dedra screwed up, overstepped her boundaries, and Krennic had to step in and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, and you're never gonna see the light of day again. Like,
What a
Yeah.
screw up. It's so funny. I mean, everybody in this show, including Krennic, screws up because of their own ambition.
yeah,
They're
all
all
selfish.
chasing. They're all selfish. They're all chasing the glory, and they all pay for it in the end. Dedra screws over Krennic. Krennic screws over himself.
with like
So
Dedra as
before-
What's
well.
his name? Hirt. I don't even know what happens.
Yeah.
He turns into a rag doll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With Dedra as well, like she oversteps so far to try and solve her initial problem, her initial assignment. And then she also gets completely screwed over because Lonnie used her codes and Krennic is like, you gave them over. Like there's no way that guy stole your codes. You're definitely like also like aiding him in this. And she didn't do that. So she got like double screwed over because she did one thing wrong and then everything else. Oh,
Great.
sorry.
Greatest
with Death Star
sass.
plans. Like, whoops.
Greatest sass in Star Wars has to be Krennic saying, "If you're not a rebel spy, then you missed your calling."
Yeah. That was brilliant.
Unreal sass. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah.
So before Andor, I think maybe like Empire Strikes Back probably showed the best like Imperial hierarchy behind the scenes because you get Admiral Piet's great rise to fame. And that's the real
Never
the real story of
better
Empire
success
Strikes Back.
story.
Yeah. So, but this show really does it because we get, people have made the meme already of like one person behind the other person behind the other person leading up to like Tarkin or whatever.
Mhm.
This show did it so well of showing us the Imperial machine and like what's behind it and how it consumes its own people and like everyone's just a cog. And he
They're all
Krennic
cannibals. It's gonna eat itself.
Krennic looks like he's the most important person, but then you watch Rogue One and he's a bozo because of Vader, and Vader's a bozo because of Palpatine, and it keeps going up. So it's like, and Partagaz, we'll get to Partagaz later,
Oh
but
God, yeah.
Man.
he was the opposite image, I would say, of Luthen in the whole show, and they both kind of had similar. They both killed themselves, in different manners.
It's true.
One as a sacrifice, and the other one as
like
he didn't want to go to prison
Yeah.
or face whatever was coming for him.
It's like
One knew he
called?
succeeded, one failed. So it was like a perfect parallel there.
yeah.
Mm.
So I don't remember where we left off in the story at this point.
I think
But I
we're
know-
like at the end of episode 1, into the
Yeah,
beginning of episode 2.
episode. We were talking about Dedra.
Yeah.
And like
Dedra
her-
with Krennic, and at this
Yeah.
point, Clea is sending out a message from the really crappy looking safe house at this point.
Love the safe house.
Right.
For
What
the
happened?
boys
Why is
on-
floor
on
7
Yavin.
so ignored? Everybody hates floor 7. Or was
I
it
don't know.
37?
Yeah, that entire floor got like decommissioned, it seems. So
I thought the whole place was abandoned, and then they showed up to that like lovely couple's apartment, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, this looks nice. This looks like a nice place. What the hell happened?
The
just
rent's cheap. in that
27th
building.
floor. Who knows?
Yeah.
Got overrun. But yeah, Dedra drops that Clea is still like at large, and that's who they should be looking for, and then they run with that. I love how in putting out the word trying to find Clea, Hurt and Partagaz are whatever, like trying to like deal with everything, and Krennic is also like in the room. Hurt has like never like dealt with Krennic before, like in his life, and he's just like,
Yeah.
who is this guy? What's going on? Hurt moments ago also had to say, oh, we found Lonnie was found dead this morning, and that was like Partagaz finding out, and he's literally just like, everything that could go
Whoa.
wrong today is going wrong today.
They're
Like,
falling apart.
it just gets worse and worse. This all happens in like a day,
Dude,
2
I know.
days at most.
Dude,
by the way,
The
Like,
Death
let's
Star
just-
goes from being
like-
figured out to being destroyed in less than a week.
Yeah, think about that.
What an utter
What?
spectacular blunder. That's the biggest blunder in the universe.
They blew a
What?
25-point lead.
Unbelievable.
They blew up a Death Star.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
Oh god. But yeah, Clea gets her message out, and we see the boys on Yavin, and it's literally K2, Cassian, and Melshi playing cards and getting drunk.
Love that.
I used to dream for days like this. Like, if
Oh,
if
yeah.
I could have like a mini series of the three of them just playing games the entire time, I'd be like
Oh yeah.
set.
yeah.
I
Oh,
love how the
absolutely.
house is this like little like frat house as well. Like Melshi just like lives with Cassian. They're just like chilling.
makes me
K2
so
is
happy.
just like calculating
was-
the odds. It was just
We watched a little behind the
Ugh.
scenes thing that Star Wars posted on YouTube, and the set designer, I think it was, talked about how the little bungalow looks like crap now because it's just been Cassian living there, and when Bix was there, it was a little bit more taken care of. You had an homage to a lot of different things of the whole show. Go ahead, Matt.
But he watered the plants.
He watered the at the
He watered
end
the plants
as
at
he's
the
about
At
to
the
leave.
end. But
He still
but
cares
I
about the
feel
plants.
like that's still like part of his routine. I'm impressed. He kept the plants alive.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love how Melshi went from just random guy that was kind of, and it's the beauty of Star Wars, random guy that we love from Rogue One. You know, he holds his own on Scarif there at the end, holds the door for a while, but he's like a featured leader now, and like Cassian's best friend or other best friend with K2.
I know.
Um,
and
Yeah.
and he stood out more to me watching Rogue One now that I know who he is. When
Yeah.
you guys were talking about Melshi like 3 years ago in Andor, I was like, yeah, I heard the name.
Oh, we've
but I was
always
like,
loved
oh, yeah,
Melshi.
whatever.
We've always
Uh,
loved Melshi because it was always like the way
Melshi's
that,
that guy.
in Rogue One, the way that Cassian says Melshi just like always like got me, and I was like, who is this
Melshi.
Melshi guy? Melshi, do you copy? And then Melshi's like, like dead.
Melshi's
on
like
the ground.
slumped on
And
the
I'm like,
ground, dude.
"Ah!"
That was devastating.
But,
That
like,
hurts so much, dude. Now that
like-
I'm like, I just watched them play poker. They were playing poker like a day ago. Now he's dead.
Welcome to
I
the
love
Melshi.
him so much, and like
Welcome to the
I-
party, pal.
Like
Yeah.
my lone criticism with the show is just I wish it was longer so we
No,
got
no,
more
thank you.
time with everybody. Like we got more time with like
Yeah.
Cassie and K2 and Melshi, like and what's going on with the rebellion, like more time with Vel working with the rebellion. Like I wish we got more time with all of that.
I honestly would have liked there are a couple more soldiers in Rogue One that get a significant amount of screen time. on Scarif that I was thinking like, oh, if Andor went longer and they brought these guys back,
Yeah.
imagine how unbelievably devastating it is if we knew practically every soldier that got screen time on Scarif, just watching each one get picked off one by one. That'd be unbelievable.
Like,
Yeah.
oh.
It's so yeah, I agree with Jamie that my only complaint about the whole season, and it's a good complaint, is that I want more. Like,
Yeah.
I wish we could have got more with K2 and Cassian, because we know them in Rogue One and they're a good duo, and like everyone thinks of them as this classic Star Wars, like Han and Chewie or something. But we only got this one couple episodes with them, and Melshi's there with them. But I wish we could have gotten like another arc with K2 and Cassian doing some other like thing. But I mean, the show worked out perfectly, but the 1 year time jumps were tough. I do have one other maybe minor complaint, but I could get to it later.
Yeah.
On the edge of my seat.
It's a tease.
But
yeah, the
so
boys,
they get,
Yep, go ahead, Jamie.
They get the message. Willman gets the message because he's the one that's hanging on to the receiver. And I love how he's just in a relationship with Drina, the girl from Gorman. I love how she's still around and just like hanging out. I also love the little detail that Willman has a limp from his injury from Gorman. And he's pretty much grounded as just like as a technician on Yavin 4. Like ascending about the technicians. I should have put that on the mannequin. God damn it.
The prisoner outfit's perfect.
Yeah. I had
to see it again. You're never going to be able to use that again.
Never again. But Willman gets the message and runs over to show Cassian and whatnot. And I love how immediately Melshi is just like, all right, you need something? Yeah, I'm here for it. And K2 is just like, I don't like this. I don't like what you're doing. I don't like it. And he's just like pacing around like this is dumb. Like it's just I love him so much. Just so much.
I know.
Oh yeah, dude. Melshi, another ginormous bro. You had
Ride
Brasso and you have Melshi, dude. Two of the biggest bros in the entire galaxy who just have your back, who just there for you. Ride or die, Melshi and Brasso.
They're like, we had some times.
They straight up, dude. As soon as Cassian got obliterated on Scarif, I think wherever the netherworld of the Force is, it's him, Brasso, and Melshi playing cards, and K2. Yeah, droids can get into heaven too.
Yeah.
And the four of them are just playing eternal poker.
We had some times.
They had some times, dude.
We had some times. But yeah, so we get the guys, they get the mission. They need to go save the boys are taking a boys trip to Coruscant.
Against
General Draven. Is that his title?
Yeah.
General Draven's wishes, commands. They're always pissing him off.
Who cares about that? That's the third time they've done this to this, or the second time they do this to this man, and then they do it again to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a classic.
They're
just.
Draven's just eternally just.
Draven is like the dean in an old college movie.
That's what I was gonna say. Or like
the stingy dean who's like, you better not, you're on double secret probation now.
They're like,
you
raid his wardrobe.
Yeah. Dude, straight up.
So they're out of there. They're going to Coruscant to save what they think is Luthen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't know it's Clea. But they get there. They get to the crappy apartment building Matt was talking about, and Melshi and Cassian go in.
I love before they enter the Atmo for Coruscant, K2 is just like, Melshi's never been to Coruscant before, and Melshi's like glued to the window like, whoa, this is nuts. Like
the whole planet's one big city.
Dude, really.
If
only he had Rick Ollie to give him the tour.
Well, I mean, K2 says the other like most obvious thing to a guy who's like, "Whoa!" like looking out the window. Again, it all goes back to I wish that there was more time with like the three of them like doing missions, because there's so many moments Cassian's just like, hold on, and Melshi just like wordlessly just like grabs on, like no, it's just muscle memory, and it's just like it's so good. But they get to the apartment, and K2 stays behind because he's really obvious. He's a huge droid. And then the comms go down immediately, and shit hits the fan immediately.
Yeah. The last episode, Clea breaking into the hospital, that's like shit your pants tension. And then this one, shit your pants tension. I mean, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. 2 back-to-back episodes where I'm just like, oh my God, on the edge
Were you
of my
guys-
seat. I'm on the floor.
Were you guys surprised that they got pants like that? Because they were in the apartment with Clea talking to her about,
Yeah.
come back to Yavin. She didn't want to and all that. And the next thing you know, the Imperial guys are outside. And I was like,
Big
oh,
time.
they're smarter than this. I thought they would have had it planned or something.
Well,
I thought they were
Well-
gonna be like at the wrong door or something again.
Well, they were.
They were. I thought they were gonna be again. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not that surprised because they had the no comms, and so like they didn't know something was going down, and none of them were looking out the window. So
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I thought you were talking about the Imperials. I'm surprised the Imperials got pantsed. I thought they were. I thought this was going to be like such like
Oh, they
a
always get
devastating
pantsed.
hit for like Cassian and Melshi. But then like K2 just like breezed through them. It was hilarious. It was amazing.
I loved
wanted
them.
to-
I loved how
Oh.
they called it in. With just like, oh, do you guys order a security droid? Oh, it's probably just like a local patrol, and then just no, just kills everyone.
I wanted to make note. This was something that I saw someone else talking about, but the comp force is what
Yeah.
these little soldiers are, and apparently it's a Legends thing, which I don't know a ton about.
Oh.
I'm sure people in the chat might know, maybe Matt, might know, but they're foot soldiers for the ISB from Legends, apparently.
So-
but those
So
those
the-
outfits are really cool.
So the helmetless stormtroopers, basically, because that's
essentially, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool
So
look.
so we saw it on in Alex's video. Stars explained. He like explained it more. He kept referring to them as
That's
the
what it
comp
was,
force,
yeah.
and we're like, what the heck is the comp force? Because that wasn't. I don't think it was said out loud. But give it to Alex to actually make that connection.
Mm.
But I was looking into it further, and there's the division of the Imperial regime that is Comp Nor, which I've only ever seen written. I believe it appears in like Mask of Fear and a couple other
There you go.
written works recently. But essentially, the way that like the Imperial government is assembled is Comp Nor is all of like the administrative things, and so the Comp Force are like the foot soldiers who are called upon. The ISB is its own branch, and then there's like branches for like education and then like other things like that along the way. But pretty much these guys are the soldiers that they call in for highly specific jobs that the ISB needs, which is why they all aren't stormtroopers but kind of stormtroopers, and why one of them was wearing a beanie. What was that
Yeah.
about?
One was wearing a beanie. That was
not
wild.
enough Star
Like-
Wars beanies.
like-
out
No.
there.
I love how none of these guys were wearing helmets. They were just like
That's the
there.
thing that
They
threw
were-
me off.
it was interesting. It was just funny.
Because they're
Um,
like higher end, because you have like the mud troopers who are just like the Imperial infantry, just like rando soldiers, regular
Yeah.
like low level soldiers. And then you had like these guys felt like the in between those guys and stormtroopers. It's like you
Yeah.
don't earn your helmet. You got to earn your helmet. Otherwise,
It
you're just
seemed that
walking
way.
around with like white armor looking like a doofus.
It seemed that way, but these guys were also like really on top of it at the same time. So like
Well,
I liked to see all of that.
Certainly the mustache guy was. Everybody
Yeah.
else not so much.
He was one with the beanie, I think.
Yeah, he was.
I love that this show. I mean, for those of us that love these like Imperial variant looks of stormtroopers or whatever, like this. I mean, this and Rogue One and Solo, like Matt mentioned, Mud Troopers. Like these shows really give us, or
So
these
many.
projects really give us so many, and Andor gave us so many. So it was cool.
Yeah,
to see.
there's so many just like officer variants with the armor this entire series. Like in this season alone, we got like the white coats, we got gray, we got dark gray, we got blue. It's just like whew, I never thought there could be so many colors of Imperial officers, but here we are.
We're just
um,
gonna have to do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
But then we get
yeah,
K2 hallway scene.
Yeah,
K2
because
hallway scene.
Hirt went with them on this attack, and they gave him like the extra
He gets
armor, and so
roasted.
he was
What a
there
joke.
leading the field. He had his like PKE meter to like locate
Dude,
where
thank
the thing
you. I
was.
thought of you guys immediately as soon as he did. As soon as he whipped that out, I was like, "Oh my god, that's a PK."
It looked
Yeah.
exactly like it. I mean, instead of the two arms like coming up like this, it was like the triangulating it instead. Like, like
yeah.
I liked that. It was slightly different. Like copy it, but don't make it look like the original kind of thing. I enjoyed that, but sorry, we didn't even talk about back at the store, at the relic shop. The officers like analyzing everything. There was like
Oh,
that
yeah.
full like
She was loving
Imperial,
it.
like
She was
tactical crew just like
Jazzed.
digging through all the stuff, and like
Yeah.
all of these officers going through the stuff, and then there's like the one at like the media console just like this is really impressive. Like, I don't know, like, these guys did like a really good job. And then, like, can you trace the signal? I mean, if they send the message, and she was just so chill.
I know.
That
And
the officer,
the
like, in
guy's like,
charge was just like, okay, no, like, I need a result. And then
I know
here's
she's
just
like
Somebody's microphone just
geeking out,
exploded.
and he's like, don't.
But
Stop
the
geeking out."
officer in charge was like, I know you're excited, but I need a result. And here it's just like, I need to know. Sorry.
It's so good, dude. It's
Yeah.
so. I mean,
It was fantastic.
it's such a like a serious way to show blundering Imperials.
Yeah.
You don't even really realize they're blundering Imperials. Like in like Rebels, you got like this fat oaf with like a Cockney accent going like, "Oi, an Imperial," and then he falls down the stairs of some BS. And then you have like this where it's like there's like 10 different like messages zipping around, and people, there's like a miscommunication here and something's happening over here, and it's like that's how the chaos really happens.
Yeah.
Like, this is how blundering Imperials would really look. Not, not the very stereotypical, like, silly, goofy guys, but, like, goofy
Hitting
in
their
another
heads
way.
on doors.
Yeah,
Even though
hitting
that
their
was an
heads on
accident.
doors and stuff. But, like, just tons of miscommunication, tons of stupid errors,
Yeah.
and, like,
Yeah.
technological errors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the guys back in the hallway are totally on top of it until K2 shows up. Melshi almost gets like lit up like immediately.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah.
Don't move.
Yeah. And he just runs.
Like, all you can do. Yeah, and K2 just like appearing with a gun and then taking everyone out.
So why did Andor tell them not to close the door? Because it
I love
seems
how
like
you
they
always
should
say
have closed the
Andor.
door. I know, I do say Andor. Why did Cassian tell them not to close the door? Because it seems like they should have closed the door. Otherwise, Clea doesn't get like concussion bomb to the face.
I don't know. I guess they just wanted
they
to
didn't want
delay
to
the
get trapped in
inevitable.
or something. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say they didn't want to get trapped in. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But
But you are right. I mean,
would have helped, to block the grenade that they tossed into the open door.
maybe they'd never seen one of those.
Yeah,
That was
maybe.
a weird grenade.
That
But
was
yeah,
a
no,
weird grenade. Nearly killed Clea.
K2's picking up Hirt and him just getting human shielded and ragdolled. That
God,
was
ragdolled.
pretty horrifying. It
That
was a
was
perfect ending
brutal.
for that guy.
Like Tony
Perfect ending
Gilroy
for
was
that guy.
talking about how like they originally had written like a horror episode of
Yeah.
K2 like waking up and causing havoc and like that being like terrifying. But I
Yeah.
mean, they kind of got what they wanted in this episode.
They gave it a
'Cause
little
that was
taste of that,
scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got that. Then we get a little bit of K2 humor, of course, because he's always funny, big droid. Pokes his
Funny
head.
big
He's like,
droid.
Cassian, I cleared the way. And, so they're out of there. Clea's concussed. Melshi's shook.
I love
Cassian's
how
ready to get out of there.
I love how Melshi carried
me back.
Clea. Not even like K2. Like,
I know.
Melshi carried her out. Like,
Yeah.
Melshi's the
K2.
biggest bro on the planet, dude. He'll do the work the droid is supposed to do.
So they're now out of there on their way back to Yavin. My question for you guys was, why do you think, and I kind of know, but I want to know what you guys think. Why do you think Clea didn't want to go to Yavin? She like really didn't want to go.
I don't know.
I
Her
feel
and
like
Luthen were very
bothering me.
jaded from the rest of the rebellion, obviously.
'Cause
But
Clea is very smart, and I cannot imagine she was going to be able to, like, in her mind, I can't imagine she had any other plan. Like, that's
I
the
feel like-
only thing you have.
I know.
I feel like she felt she didn't deserve a place there because she didn't.
That's a good point.
Because her and Luthen did so much for the rebellion, and a lot of the people in the rebellion don't even know. I feel like she just felt like
Or-
she deserved a place there. She never thought that was going to be where she wound up.
It's kind of like, it could be kind of like, I don't know, you have a friend of a friend, and you know that friend doesn't like you at all. And they're like, oh, you want to come to so-and-so's house? And like, no, I don't feel welcome there. I don't want to go. It's probably like that because we know that Luthen isn't wanted on Yavin. They're not very fond
Yeah.
of him at all. And we'll get to that later. So maybe Clea knows about that because Luthen probably talked about it. There's probably a lot of rebel gossip.
Right,
That
but if
they weren't liked on Yavin, but
Yeah.
maybe she didn't feel like she belonged. Kind of like what
if
Jamie
somebody
said.
Yeah.
had 20 RPGs pointed at my house and you were like, hey, do you want to go to this friend who hates you's house instead? I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would leave the house. I would get out of there. There's no reason for you to stay on Coruscant, Clea. Literally no reason.
I think
'Cause
that the other thing is like she was willing to die with that information because she kept saying to Cassian like say it back to
Well,
me
yeah,
like
that's true.
I
She was
want
willing
you
to, like,
to carry the
sacrifice herself.
information. Like she was ready for it to just be done. She was done.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, she messaged Yavin. You know, she messaged Cassian and those guys.
Well,
So I guess what did she
message
think?
Well, she
Will?
messaged Cassian. She didn't
messaged
message
Will. She
Yeah,
messaged
yeah,
Will.
which was
But
the
she must know
existing
Will's there.
connection. Yeah.
Maybe.
But I guess who else
Probably.
was she gonna message? But yeah, she must have. I don't know what she thought her end game would be then. Just go into hiding somewhere else.
I think Jamie's right on the money. I think she was expecting to just die. I think
She also-
she was trying to tell them to leave, and then she was probably gonna like blow herself up. I don't
She
know why
wasn't
I'm like
expecting
attached.
But then
to
why
that,
tell
but
them to come?
she wasn't expecting Cassian. I don't
She
think
would
she
tell
knew
somebody.
who was going to come.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's
when
true.
she
She was
opened
probably expecting Will.
when she opens the door, she's like, of course it would be you. Like she
Yeah.
like didn't even think that it would have been Cassian, but like I guess she was expecting Will over Cassian, but at the same time, like she just was prepared not to go. Was prepared to die for it.
Yeah. Do you think Luthen wanted to go to Yavin? He mentions it to our boy Lonnie.
No.
But what do you think? He didn't want to go either. I mean, they probably shared the same thoughts about Yavin. Him and Clea.
I think once he learned that Dedra was after him, I mean, I honestly thought the way him and Clea were talking in like the first scene of that episode, I think he knew that he was like in his last day or last week. I think he knew he was going to be found.
Yeah.
So I don't think he had any plan to go anywhere. I think he was just going to live out the rest of his time in Coruscant and then, have to confront the Empire when they confronted him.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I kind of stupid of me. I kind of forgot the whole point is Clea wanted to pass the message along. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the
transmit
point
that
of.
over the
I kind of
radio.
lost the main thing there as we were talking about it. But yeah, she wants to pass the message along to whoever shows up, and of course it's Cassian who wants to save everybody. He's the messenger. He's the
true.
savior. He's the Messiah. Or
That's
whatever
a
you
good-
want. I don't.
That's
know.
a good point. No, that's a great way to look at it.
So she's like, "Oh, great! Now you're gonna try to save me."
Now you're gonna take me to Yavin. I don't want to go to Yavin.
Yeah,
And
So
she's so uncomfortable at first being there. And so like she's there, obviously she's like concussed and like doesn't know what's going on. But in the med bay, she just does not
Take a
she
stroll
doesn't
in
want
the
to be there.
rain.
She's uncomfortable being there and she doesn't want to be there. And it takes her wandering around in the rain, literally as lost as it gets, and Vel to be like, "Oh my god, I know you. Hang
Yeah.
on." So all that like really takes is just like one person to recognize and be like, hey, you are okay. You are welcome here. Like it is fine. It is okay. And like Vel literally takes her in and like warms her up, gives her the blanket, the hot chocolate, and it's just like, all right, you're gonna be okay. Like things
Yeah.
are going to get better. And they will for Clea. Like
That is so
she
good.
literally wakes up to the sunrise that Luthen was never going to see. Can we talk about that?
there it is.
Like
Yeah.
she does, and she
it is.
sees the beautiful day, and it will get better. Yeah,
I know.
Powerful stuff.
it
It
is.
is. But where do we leave off with the other guys now? Vel is such a good character, and she was in this season a good amount. I wish we could have gotten more.
Yeah.
But she's kind of like that. Is she a general now? She's a high-ranking person
She
on
is.
Yavin, and I just
Yeah, she's got to be.
I
Gotta
hope
get
we
some
get some
Vel
sort of
stories.
spin-off with like
Yes.
I'll get to it at the
dude.
end, but I want a Clea and Vel spin-off or something. Like these
I'm
characters are
100%
too good
with
to
you.
leave as is. Like they're so good. Yeah, I'm so glad Clea survived. Like
Me too.
they
Somebody
were
had
cooking her
to.
up this season to be like such a good character, and she was in season 1, but she was barely in season 1, and then this season, off the charts from getting that bug out of the table to the behind the scenes stuff with Cassian. She kind of became more so the leader, in my opinion, of that secret Luthen group there on Coruscant. She was taking that leader role.
Yeah.
She
But
could
yeah.
run some special operations. It would be very cool to actually get to see more from her in the future.
Major
For sure.
Vel.
A Major Vel. I liked her and Mon's interactions. I thought they were very good.
Vel
Yeah.
and Mon.
Yeah.
I love how they actually gave them interactions because it's rare within Star Wars to have your actual family members like involved. It seems
Yeah.
it's all found family, and there's so much of it in this show. But I love how Mon goes out of the way to say, "I need to speak with my cousin," and like speak directly with like
Yeah.
someone that she knows like really well.
And she shows up and she's like, "What do you think of the new haircut? Is it too much?" What do
And
you
Belle's
think?
like,
Is it bad?
I don't know.
And Belle's like,
Um,
"Ugh."
I wish.
They don't have that
Yeah,
Coruscant
if only,
hair.
Somebody
Hair
had to
stuff.
be the hero there. Nobody was the hero.
Yeah. But I love that entire interaction because Cassian comes to them with the information from Clea about the Death Star, Jedha. It's a big weapon. It's nothing else. It's not an energy project. Like we glossed over all of that, guys.
Yeah, we
We're
have to
getting
talk
back.
about that.
We're
That's
focusing on Clea.
He goes to all of that, but we were kind of talking Clea then talking about Vel. But anyway, we'll get back to the details of it. But Mon Mothma asks Vel for advice. She's like, "Oh, go spy on Cassian for me." And Vel is like, "Okay." She just straight up asks Cassian.
Yeah,
She
she's like,
doesn't
"I'm
spy.
spying on you."
She's literally just like, Mon asked me what this is, so
Yeah.
give me your real take." And I love how she just asks. Like it's because
Mon
she's
is
like,
so
"I'm
passive
over."
aggressive.
Vel is just also over spying on the people that she trusts, and like she trusts Cassian at this point. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
All of these rebel women, and none of them are at the medal ceremony, and none of them are in the New Hope. It's all a bunch
know.
of pasty white guys running around, pasty old white men.
And
Who
Chewie.
are these people? And Chewie.
And one hairy guy.
And one hairy,
A lot of
pasty
dudes.
guy. A lot of dudes.
Want to talk about Partagas, our boy? Our boy.
Does Partagas part of blast himself in this episode or next episode? That's next.
We're not really doing an episode.
We're not doing it by episode.
We just got to the end of the whole thing, Matt. Like with
Well,
Mon and Vel.
we want to talk about like the lump senators because they suck.
Yeah.
I hate them.
You want to talk about them first?
We're on Yavin. Let's talk about them.
All right.
Yeah, because I mean,
So Cassian goes to his like little briefing to talk about Jedha kyber crystals, not an energy project, and well, I knew that.
there are.
I'm on top of that. Yeah, and so we get Senator Pamlo from
Ugh.
Terrace. I love
Ugh.
my girl. And I always
don't.
forget the character's name in Star Wars, but the guy who was Anderson and Sherlock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
hate
that
this guy.
I
I
hate
love how he
both of them. They both stink, and they both stink
Yeah.
in Rogue One. I mean, they play their parts perfectly. But
Yeah.
jeez, Louise, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Like
Even
everything.
Bale in
well,
this was
especially
was
Bale.
tough. You know.
Mm.
I mean, they literally go from, oh, they're making a super weapon. Oh, we don't believe you. To like, as soon as they confirm that the super weapon is real, they're like, well, that's it. Rebellion's over. Pack it up. We had a good run. So screw you. What the hell's the matter with you?
Classic
a
politician.
spine, dude. What are you doing? Jeez.
It's really aggravating too that the one that's Anderson and Sherlock. What's his name?
I don't know what the character's name
But
is.
that
I
one,
have no
the one,
idea.
the one with the crappy beard.
Yeah.
He's like dissing Cassian and Luthen, and it's like, dude, where have you been?
What is
Like
your
Lu-
problem?
Luthen was
Literally.
out there. Luthen was
Yeah.
in this fight.
Shows up for one scene, makes fun of Cassian that this is stupid, and literally Cassian's been out there busting his butt, doing everything. Like, come on.
This is like, what's his name? Senator Ziono. And when Hera was like, oh, where did you serve? How did
Just
you serve?
like-
Yeah.
And he's like, blah, 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 Thrawn's not real, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. You've always got those like spineless people who don't believe the big things that are about to happen. And when they do happen, they're just like, oh, you don't know.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do?
I'm too scared. Oh, yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's a good comparison to Ziono. Good.
Yeah, I mean,
good one.
it's the same kind of thing. Cassian
is.
is Hera in that situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm too scared.
And
I'm
Mon
too
Mothma is
scared.
like, somewhat siding with Cassian there, but
And
you
Mon
know.
Mothma is Mon Mothma in that situation.
Yeah,
Is she-
exactly.
She's doing what she can, but the other senators are like overriding like everything. And then Cassian manages to at least like request well they ground him. But then he manages to request the time in
got
the infirmary.
Radis.
Yeah,
game.
Radis is also
Big
Radis
Radis.
was there.
Buddy. And we got what's
Hello?
his name? Weems.
Yeah,
Who?
Mr. Weems.
on the comms, the head
What's his
technician.
name?
Oh,
The guy who
Senator!
yes,
Senator!
Tenzigo Weems. Dude,
Senator.
he's
Yeah.
when he says mum,
Yeah.
why do British people say ma'am like mum? It bothers the hell out of me.
They must
I don't wanna
ask,
talk
why
about
do American people say ma'am,
Yes,
not
mom.
because
mum?
it's spelled M-A-M-A or M-A''A''M. That's it should
let
not be
him-
pronounced mum.
Let him be. Matt's always yelling at people about pronunciations. Let people talk how they want to talk.
When I saw Rogue One for the first time and Weems is like, mom, I swear I thought he was like calling Mon mom, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Had
you
you
think
never
that
watched
in
a James Bond
son?
film?
I was gonna say, do you think that in every single like modern James Bond movie when they're talking
Dude,
to
I
M,
had
like
I'm stupid. I
Thanks,
have to
Mom.
be explained these things. And
Sometimes
also
I'm amazed.
like mum for like M works because like M could be like mom. She's like the mom, you know.
Okay.
So you could
she's
call her
not
mom.
the mom.
Yeah, she's the mom.
Come
She's the
on.
Yeah,
mom.
James
She's
Bond is
Bond's
calling
mom.
M.
In Judy Dench's last Bond movie, they literally said M is the Bond girl. She's not the mom.
She's the
Come
mom.
on.
I'm sorry, she's the mom figure.
Anyway.
She's his mom until it's a man. But that's a different story.
Until it's very fun.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
you got your senator talk, Matt. Now
And my
can we go to
Weems
Partagas?
Yes, we can talk about Partagas.
So did we talk about how Partagas wanted to talk about the Clea thing as being a disease? I know we talked about that scene.
No.
So we
What?
didn't get that far. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so you get the meeting that Jamie mentioned before about it's Hirt, Partagas, and Krennic in that the big old round room in the ISB.
Yeah.
And
Krennic's
like,
Krennic's at the head of the table. Partagas is on the side, and here is just sitting there like, I have no idea what's happening.
So yes. So you have the three of them, and here it's like, I don't know how to find this woman. Like, I don't know how to find Clea. And Krennic's like yelling at him, like, come on. And part of guys is like, she has a disease, she needs to be found, this and that. And Krennic's like, there you go. Like,
That's how you do it. It's like the Simpsons meme, slap them. That's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the comedy in this show, especially this season, was so good because it's so like dry and just
dry and
slow.
Imperial.
None of that was comedy, but like it came off like funny in some
Well,
parts. Like
I think it was somewhat supposed to be comedic. I mean,
Partagas is he's such a pro. I mean, he's
Yeah.
such a
Partagas
pro.
was
He comes up with like
so good.
He comes up with that story right off the top of his head, like it's been like done like a trillion. He's done it a trillion times. Routine, quarantine. Find this woman because she has a deadly disease. That's like, oh, okay, yeah.
So that was the first big Partagas moment in this episode, in this arc, and then the other big one was his end, pretty much, and he's sitting in the office. It was the way it was edited. The past couple weeks, I should say, past couple arcs have been edited so well with like sound and like transitions and everything, of course. But we get Nemec's manifesto playing again, which is awesome. Like we love Nemec and we want this manifesto to mean something. And it's playing, and like we think like Cassian's listening to it, or it's just playing for the audience where we can hear it. And then it next thing you know, Partagas is listening to it in his final moments, and that was just genius because that essentially was posted on the HoloNet in the galaxy, and it's just spread everywhere like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy, the other Imperial, I'm forgetting his name, the bald guy, Legret,
which we haven't seen in all this arc. He just like shows up and was just like, I volunteered to be the one to take you down, to bring you in. And it's just like how like this. So he's definitely going to be the one to like replace like Partagas and everything. And it's just like this is just like brutal in like that sense.
Such
and
a downgrade.
Yeah, seriously. Partagas is just like, I see.
So essentially, I mean, Partagas is going to get, put right in a cell like Deidre was, that we find out later, or something like that, or maybe killed, or some form of punishment because of the whole botching of the information of the Death Star leaking out.
And I love him because he's like so good at his job and such a professional and a great character to watch. He's such an evil bastard. And I don't think he deserved. He didn't deserve that. Nothing. I mean, I guess when you're in charge, anything your underlings do is on you as well. But geez Louise, what a way to just friggin' take Partagas down for no reason. Way to screw it up.
I mean, he has to answer for the things that his subordinates like did incorrectly, which was a lot and like a huge leak. And it was in that moment as well that Partagas was just like, well, I need to answer for this, and the system is like failing me, and I would literally rather die than go to the fate of which I know is coming for me.
Exactly.
And
He's in control with that, I guess.
Yeah.
At least.
and like I love how he says to Legret, "Let me get myself together." And Legret knows immediately what
Oh,
he's gonna do, because if he was in that position, he'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I love how it was done. We see the blaster on like the table, and then it's just Legret in the hallway with the two stormtroopers, and the shot, and Legret just like waves at the stormtroopers to just don't do anything, because he knows.
This
It's
is a
been
great point.
heartbreaking, but yeah,
It is. This is a great point by Walker that I also noticed was the first time we ever see Partagaz. He's at the head of it's almost the same shot
yeah.
of him talking
Oh,
to
yeah.
everyone at the round table there, and then his last moment, the last shot of him is him at the same angle, and the table's empty. There's no one at the table, and then obviously he uses that blaster on himself.
Wow.
But yeah, it's what a show!
What a show.
End it there.
Full circle.
What a show!
All right.
But, yeah, we were talking about the actor Anton Lesser. He was also Qyburn in Game of Thrones, which I think is kind of
Yeah.
funny because General Veers' actor is also Meister Pycelle in Game of Thrones. So we have a lot of great Imperials
I didn't even know
in
that.
Game of Thrones. You didn't know that?
Yeah, he is. I never really
Wow.
thought I forgot about that.
Yeah.
About that.
Hey.
Loaded Imperial guys in there.
Holy
So.
crap.
Yeah. So Partagaz, it was a good run. One of our favorite. I don't think he ever got an MVP because he's an Imperial, but great character in this show. Great
Out
little
of all
villain.
of the Imperials, he was my favorite.
Yeah, I would say
me
that.
too, probably.
Yeah.
Bad luck,
and-
Partagaz.
Bad luck, Partagaz.
Bad luck, Partagaz.
So on the flip side, Dedra, in a little montage at the end, we find out her fate, and Jamie has that prison outfit behind her for good reason. We see Dedra wearing that in an identical looking cell. Look at what appears to be a woman's prison. Cassian was in a guy's prison, and
Yeah, probably right
on
next
Narkina 5.
door. Like that's nuts.
Narkina 6.
Yeah, Narkina 6. Probably actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, I can't believe that they got everything that they needed from Dedra. She screws up, gets screwed over by other people. She tries to weasel her way out by feeding information to her to like find Clea and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it still just doesn't work out. And so there she goes. She's in prison.
Bad luck, Dedra.
Bad luck, Dedra. I can't believe it. I can't believe that they still brought it back, and it just goes
I
to
can't
show
believe
like
she didn't die.
I can't believe she didn't die, and they're
can't
just letting her
believe she's
rot in
alive.
prison. She
Yeah.
knows so much. Like
People are Tony Gilroy and just people are so good at writing things. Like I would have just been like, oh, everyone dies, whatever. I don't know. They're not,
Yeah.
But like, it's so creative to just be like, oh, she went to prison. Like it seems so
She went to the
simple, but-
same prison Andor went to. Cassian went to. God
Like-
damn it.
or something similar at least. So like it's
I mean, it
genius
seems
to
like it's
flip
the
it
same
around, and I don't think
system.
it's the same prison.
I don't
but,
think
like,
it's the same. I don't think it's
Next
5. I
door.
think 5 was
Yeah.
probably abandoned. But it's the same, prison system.
Yeah,
oh, this
But
is like
it's
3
brilliant.
years later, so I mean they definitely could have just
That's
like
true.
fixed it.
yeah.
How funny is it that someday in 5-6 years, some rebel squadron's going to show up to that prison and free her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
another problem on their hands.
Didn't think
Imagine
about
that.
one.
She's yeah. How
So
funny is that?
we're making our way towards like the grand finale now, unless I've missed something along the way. Somebody let me know. But
I think we got most
I
of
think
it.
so.
we get Phil points out there's a few prison islands on Arcana 5.
Yeah, it's like a
but
big
yeah.
like honeycomb.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
right.
Very cool. But yeah,
It's been some
so
research.
so Dedra is still working on the Death Star in one way.
I mean, they might be making something. Oh, they might be making something else at that point.
Yeah. So
She's working on the Death Star.
we get this great scene of Vel and Cassian toasting to each other about the rebellion, and um,
And the people they lost.
mutual friends, mutual people they've lost. Which I know Matt texted us that they did talk about Brasso,
They
but
mentioned
Vel didn't.
Brasso.
But they weren't supposed to.
It's okay.
I get what you mean. I love Brasso too. Brasso was one of the greats.
Yin toast to Brasso.
But they couldn't. It was mutual people.
Yeah, it
would have
was
been weird.
mutual people that in their shared experiences. The whole point was that Vel and Cassian like trust each other. That was the whole point.
No excuses.
Oh, I'm toasting this one guy, or listing this person, that person. Oh, the Eldani mission, the Eldanis, Ferrix. Oh, Brasso. Who? Like,
she would have just probably went along with it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
See, it would have worked, I think, if Will was also toasting with them, and it's the three of them.
Yeah, if only
Will
Will was there.
Brasso,
Right.
and they give each other like a wink, or not a wink, but like a knowing look. Hey, Brasso.
It is a shame because that scene really is kind of a send off to everybody who died in the show, except Brasso.
They don't mention Luthen. They talk about him other words, but I don't think he's in the toast.
True. That's true.
But they're both like, oh, that guy was an a-hole, but we love him.
You remember that guy?
What a joke.
Yeah, no, that is sad though, because Brasso was awesome. But the show is all these characters, it's a thankless climb to heroism. It's a and
like
Brasso was part of it.
Get the medal. The bozos
And the
get the medal.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker, a bozo, gets a medal.
Oh, it's so,
I
dude,
can't imagine.
I cannot stop looking at that scene now and just looking at those two oafs just smiling with their medals.
What was it like going from Andor to Rogue One to a New Hope? Because you get from like, it must be wild. It must be a good trip. But
look, like Andor, fantastic. Rogue One, fantastic. A New Hope.
A New Hope, fantastic.
Oh my God. You should have seen me and my parents yesterday. We were literally, I mean, you would have hated us because we were just quoting the whole movie and just rolling, like laughing at every line. I mean, really, that movie could not be more fun and could not be more the exact opposite of Andor. Like, you go from Andor, which is like this really glum, very serious show, and then you're like, going to A New Hope and Han's like in a stormtrooper outfit going, what an incredible new smell you've discovered. And it's like, what the hell are we doing?
It's so
what
good,
is
though.
this? It's so good.
And then you go to Phantom Menace.
And let's not even get into that.
Let's not get into that.
But it's just great. Like Han shows up, is like, I'm gonna win all the money in the world, leaves, and then at the last second comes back, is like, I'm just gonna do this one thing, done, give me a medal. Like Cassian's probably watching from the poker table in the sky going like, Jesus, who the hell is this guy?
Oh man. Yeah, Corey brought up a point how Brasso is part of the mentioning of Ferrix.
Yeah, I mean that's what I assumed. So, like,
Brasso
like
is
she
Ferrix.
says
Let's
Ferrix.
Fine.
He's all the
Ferrix. He didn't get to become a brick. Very tragic.
True.
No. Maybe do you think B2 Emo knows he died?
However, yeah, I would say that because B was left with the woman that Brasso was like seeing.
Yes.
So like
she basically adopted B2 Emo, which is kind of nice. I mean, that's really nice actually.
Let's get into that ending montage. So we got back from a long trip that we were up early Tuesday. So I was exhausted and I was like, unfortunately, like really sleepy during the final moments of the third episode. So when but the montage happened and I like woke right up and I was like alert with all that. The final montage of Cassian walking out and then like showing this was our epilogue that I've been wanting, like kind of.
Yeah.
Seeing what everyone's up to.
His last
I
moments.
love Vel and Mon having coffee or whatever, and Will was having breakfast with the Gorman girl there. I forget her name.
Drina.
Yeah. And we get a look at Dedra, of course, in the prison.
Yep.
And we get our boy Perrin. Perrin's back.
I didn't realize that was
I didn't either.
What's his face's wife?
It's Skulden's wife. So
Skulden's wife.
He's out there cheating, or maybe they got remarried.
Skulden's dead.
Who knows? Maybe Skulden's maybe. Who knows?
He's old. He looked old.
I mean, like the story was Mon's story. It wasn't Perrin. I am surprised that not surprised, but there really wasn't a way they could have like worked in what was going on with Perrin and with like Lita and whatnot. And hey, yeah, maybe it's some sort of Chandrillin tradition. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they're just into that. So
Perrin looked pretty miserable.
Was a big deal. That was great.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic. Yeah, Perrin. Okay, so they kind of do have an open marriage a little bit.
Yeah.
according to Mask of Fear. They sort of kind of at least Perrin sort of kind of has affairs that Mon knows about and sort of kind of is like, yeah, whatever. But they still love each other, apparently, at least in Mask of Fear. I don't know where they
Yeah.
are. Dude,
Mhm.
A New Hope is so funny. It's ridiculous. That movie
Yeah.
is just a comedy goldmine.
It's
I
always been a
always
comedy
forget
goldmine.
that. I know, but I always forget every time I'm watching it because I take it so
It's a
seriously
goldmine.
that when I sit down and watch A New Hope, I'm like, oh, this movie's just
You
fun.
don't take it
Pure
seriously. You're
fun.
the laugh master.
Well, yeah, that's true. When I'm watching things, but when I'm
You know what
thinking
I'm
about
taking-
things, I'm like, the hero's journey, Luke Skywalker.
You know what I'm taking seriously? So I had the chance to see my oldest friend the other day on Tuesday, and I was telling her about the show. She's watched all of like the Skywalker Star Wars movies, but that's all she's ever watched for Star Wars. She's yet to watch Rogue One at all. So I told her, what if you watched all of Andor first and then watch Rogue One and tell me what happens? So I'm sending her on that experiment. She's a teacher, so she's waiting to the end of the school year so that way she can settle down and get everything done. So I'm excited to send her on that journey in the next month.
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm really
That's awesome.
excited for it. Let's talk
Yeah.
about serious things. That is the most serious as we're gonna get here, and then I'll give you the full scoop of how that went
We'll
down.
give you the
So,
update.
Absolutely.
the
please.
update.
So
you'll get the update.
yeah, we get this montage. The Force Healer with
Montage.
Cassian giving each other the knowing look was awesome because
Fantastic.
that's pretty much like the final look before Cassian goes on his journey. And then, of course, he comes back to Yavin later. But that's the final look before this Rogue One endeavor. And yeah, I love the way they did that with the music building. And we watched that behind the scenes thing, Jamie. And the I don't know who mentioned the score going from more electronic Andor from the beginning towards you get closer to Rogue One and it becomes more orchestral.
Yeah.
To lead into the movie, and it's like that's genius that they did that with the music.
I'm not sure if it was Nicholas Bertel or if it was
I think
who did
it might have been him. Yeah.
Season 2 was someone else. Who was it? Hang on. Season
But
2.
anyways, like it was just that's such a cool thing that they did
Brandon
with the music
Roberts.
building there.
Brandon
Okay.
Roberts did season 2, so I'm not sure if it was Brandon Roberts or if it was Nicholas Bertel, but I know that they collaborated
One
a
of them
lot
mentioned it,
on
yeah.
season 2 for sure.
But so the biggest shot of the whole montage, other than the Force Healer looking at Cassian and all these other things, was
And
we
Perrin.
get Bix on Space Nebraska there, Mina Rao.
Yep.
And she's carrying a baby. And I saw a lot of people puzzled that like they didn't know it was Cassian's baby at first. I'm like, what are you talking about? But
It's not
how
that
could you
much
not?
later.
and I didn't think it was like I didn't think that was rocket science. But anyways, we're led to believe it's Cassian's baby with Bix.
I'm pretty sure
And,
Tony's confirmed that.
You probably did. I mean,
it's not
who
that
else
much of a stretch.
Who else's baby would it be? People
That
overthink
baby was
things.
going to town on that wheat. Did you watch?
Yeah, it was like
that baby.
No.
I was kicking the hell out of that one
Well,
wheat stalk, just going nuts.
Jamie asked me yesterday randomly when we were like sitting around, like, what did you think of
the ending.
Bix having the baby?
Yeah.
I guess I gave you guys like the floor earlier on your opening thoughts, but like I'm pretty split on it.
I am too.
I
Me too.
like, and I know this is up Matt's alley, but I like it's a classic Star Wars thing to have like a legacy. And now that's a new character we could have going forward. They could just leave it alone. Why would you introduce the baby not to do something with it down the road? I don't know. But it's like, I almost feel like Bix was like, she's a great character. She went through so much. I'm so glad she lived. I'm so glad she didn't get killed off just for no reason. She had her own choice to go do what she's doing. But I almost wish she could have been like part of the rebellion because she seemed pretty badass. She did the mission. She wanted to go on the missions when they were on Coruscant. And then she kind of gets sidelined a bit.
She does. I agree.
I don't want to say as like the housewife or something, but like now she's like the mom and like, we have badass. It's almost like the Hera thing. Hera is left with the baby after Kanan dies. And
But she still fights.
She keeps fighting. So like maybe Bix still will fight. I think she has that fight in her.
Yeah,
So she felt a little bit sidelined to me, and I thought she was such a great character.
So it's funny because I do also feel like Bix got sidelined in season 2, but she also was in it like so much more than she was in season 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know
true,
how the feeling is she got sidelined, but she was also in it more at the same time. But it still is somehow that way.
Her major thing this season was having those nightmares she had a lot of other awful things happening to her, and then she got her revenge. I know Star Wars isn't, the good guys shouldn't get revenge, but she got her revenge on
Got
the Dr.
closure.
Gorst. Got closure. There you go.
It was
Yeah.
more
Got
so
closure on that.
closure than
Call
revenge.
it closure.
And I guess I was expecting more of her being like a badass soldier after that.
I was expecting to see her perform more action. I was looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing her as like a Cassian figure.
Like a
Yeah.
Clea type or a Cassian
But
figure. Yeah.
instead, she mostly just stayed at home, wondering, oh, when's Cassian getting back? Doing drugs. It
Well,
did feel a little.
I mean, that was then, but I mean, like maybe for all we know, in the last arc that we see her, maybe she already knew she was pregnant, and maybe she was
Well, that's the theory.
preemptively
There's
staying
also-
because of that,
Well,
which
I think
is
she preemptively left when she found out.
exactly, and
Yeah.
it was definitely
Cassian's
like a
not,
big driver.
Cassian's going to want to settle down with me. He's already talking about settling down with me.
Yeah.
I need to get the hell out of here if I'm having a baby, because there's no way I can convince him to continue the fight.
Especially
Yeah.
with that, yeah. This arc was a lot of, or this season was a lot of tough choices, tough decisions, obviously.
And
across
I
the board.
I understand it. Whereas, this this is the perfect example of the sunrise you're never going to get to see. And
Yeah.
the imagery of her holding a baby in a wheat field is very Greek.
Yeah.
Like the fields of Elysium, the
Yeah, there you go.
long endless wheat fields, and it reminded me of Gladiator. It's the same thing as Gladiator, where he sees his wife and child in the wheat fields, that kind of thing.
And we got the
Um,
sunbeams of like,
we got the sunbeams coming through.
is that
and
her looking at like Cassian's dead at that point? I don't know. We don't know, but
It's
her
I
like
mean,
thinking about Cassian.
it's just the baby and her are just a representation of the future and the life that Cassian had to give up so that other people could live that future. I get why it was done. I would have liked to see Bix do more actiony, rebel-y, badassy stuff, but it's fine.
But Phil Grimm brings up a great point. Obviously, it was big. We got news that
That's
the Gorse
true.
program was expanding.
That's true.
Her and Cassian put an end to that with Luthen
Immediately.
organizing.
It's not
Which
about
is
fighting what
huge.
you hate. It's
So
about
she,
saving what you love.
Bix was a hero, and I guess I just wanted to see her keep being.
Yeah, I
That-
guess the big thing is like sometimes like the first reaction is it's just like a little frustrating, or it's just like
Yeah,
I hate when the trope is, oh, the best thing a woman can do is become a mother. That trope
Yeah.
just boils
I guess
my
that's
blood.
what I was trying to get at earlier.
Yeah.
That
but
boils
it-
my blood. I had to be
Kinda
the one to
feels
say
like that.
it.
Right.
That boils my blood. But like I know that there's like so much more to look forward to like from this though. Like it is like the symbol of like hope and legacy like within Star Wars, and to see the sunrise that Cassian never got to see and whatnot. But like a piece of me is just like, oh man, single mom
So,
in
yeah.
Star Wars. Again, the dad is dead. How do they keep doing this? Like I'm just like I'm a bit upset about that.
Yeah,
I also
mean,
think it's a bit of a shortcut to have the baby be a legacy. It's very
Yeah.
easy to be like, I have a son I didn't know about. Oh my god,
mm,
my
Yeah,
DNA
so,
lives
like,
on.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
but there are
not
other ways for you to live on, other than having a kid. It's very
Yeah,
shorthanded,
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. So
But
So, I
at
mean,
the end of the
it's-
day,
it's a very
uh,
small. That was my small nitpick that I teased earlier. Was
I could
with
agree
Bix.
with that.
yeah.
But
I
we
can
all
agree
seem to
with
be on the same page, and I know a lot of people also feel the same way. But it's I'm happy they have a baby. Like it was a sad moment too, because Cassian won't ever get to see the baby in person.
I hope
You know,
that the
person,
baby grows
or
up
at all.
to
Well, I
be
mean, from
friends with
beyond,
Jason
down
and
on Bix.
Poe. Are you listening?
Cold War show with Cassian's son, please.
But is
But
that, like,
I
too-
would
is that
love
too
to-
on the nose.
I would love to eventually see
Yes.
like Cassian's kid. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, by the way.
I think
I would love to
Tony
see
called
Cassian's
it a
kid.
son, but I'm not. Again, I don't know. They could do whatever
Yeah.
they want with it.
They can do whatever
KG
they
brings
want.
up a good point that if you do have a baby, that is your most
Yeah.
important thing in your life. So
Yeah.
no, but yeah. So
True.
I can't put it away for some reason. Jamie, can you click the thing away? There we go.
No.
It's a way for me.
It was lagging. Okay. Anyways, yeah, the montage was awesome. The thing with Bix is awesome. And like another way to look at the Bix thing too is like she went through hell and she's like so healthy now.
Yeah.
Like
She looks great.
as far as we
And
know. Like
She looked happy.
in the bungalow, she was at peace in that nice little jungle away from Yavin. And maybe I don't know. She's happy, as you said.
She's
So
chilling.
Yeah.
that's what's most important. And yeah, and Phil and some others mentioned I actually texted Matt during the episode because we let the credits roll usually all the time. I know you probably do, Matt, too, Matt. But like the Star Wars theme, like the classic John Williams Star Wars theme, started to play through the credits as if like at the end of a movie was playing.
That was nuts.
And I was like, whoa, this is awesome. So I think you went back and like
I had
let
to,
it play.
yeah. Because we were kind of itching. It was already almost midnight, and we were still ready to watch Rogue One.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, all right, let's go, let's turn Rogue One on real quick, since it's right after Rogue One. But then you were like, oh, they play the music, and I was like, all right, we got to go back. So we like stopped right before we were about to start the movie, and I'm like, go back, come on, we got to hear this, and it was worth it because holy crap, what an incredible musical Easter egg! Unbelievable.
I know. I think I listened to it 2 or 3 times. I was like, oh, I got to hear it again. My phone died. I had all my notes on it, but my final note I remember I had was, do you guys think, / would you want? And the answer is probably yes to both. There could be any spinoffs off of Andor, or do you think that's realistic too?
I don't think there will be, but I do want them.
Okay.
I am in the same camp. I would love to have them, but I don't think that there's going to be like a direct thing because guess what? Spinoff of Andor is Rogue One. Guess what? Spinoff of Rogue One is the original trilogy.
No, I know. It's just I would love something with Vel or Clea or Bix.
I
or
don't
their
think you could
son.
pay Gilroy any amount of money to get him to come back to Star Wars. I think he's like kind of brushed his hands of the
I don't know.
magnum opus that is Andor and said, I'm done. I'm good.
He mentioned he'd wanted to do a courtroom show with Star Wars.
I think
which would be
it-
awesome.
I mean, I'm down for anything that Tony Gilroy wants to do in Star Wars again. Like, whatever. If he wants to make something, let him do it, please. So like, I'm just excited to see like the future of it, and like we do have like the characters to play around with, and I think that in expanded media, they'll just like start doing more stuff with it finally, because we don't really have that much knowledge on what's coming in the future for publishing. If you guys remember,
No,
so
we have what? Master of Evil is
Mhm.
like the only non-High Republic novel I think that's been announced recently. Oh no, the Last Order, is that what it's called?
I have no
With
idea.
Finn
You know
and
more than
Jannah.
me. Oh yeah,
Finn and
yeah,
Jannah.
Yeah.
yeah.
Finn and
The
Jannah
young
book. We
adult.
have Master of Evil with a good friend of the show.
Yeah.
We need a Matlock in space.
Yes.
Matlock's back, baby.
Matlock.
Oh god.
But yeah, I could see like 5 books coming out off of this. Like
I
one
would love
about
that.
Clea,
Easily.
a prequel about Clea and Luthen doing stuff could be cool or
I
something.
mean, honestly, Mask of Fear is already kind of
No.
a book prequel to Andor. I mean, it's literally.
No, we need more.
Oh, we have to talk. We didn't talk about this one. The most important thing. Mask of Fear
The trilogy.
is a reference to Nemec's manifesto.
Yes.
Mask of Fear is a line
Oh.
from Nemec's manifesto, and he's listening to
Beautiful.
Nemec's manifesto, Partagaz. And right before he offs himself, they're talking about like, this was bound to happen. The rebellion was always going to happen, and it's not going away, and it's never going to go away. And it's all, they were listening to Nemec's manifesto at the ISB. This thing spread throughout the galaxy. I can't believe I forgot to talk about that because that's my favorite thing, dude.
I didn't think about that.
Nemec is like my favorite thing. Nemec's manifesto is my favorite thing. I can't believe it made a comeback. I can't believe they toasted to him, but I can't believe we got to hear it one last time. Effing believable.
I know, because this whole time, not this whole time, but I was really looking forward to how is Nemec's impact and manifesto going to like get out there? Because they've saved it. Cassian saved it. He had it. Nemec wanted him to have it. And like, was that going to play a bigger role? Everything in this show kind of was for a reason. And we learned that like it gets spread out there.
Yeah.
Through the rebellion. Like they posted it online. It got 1.5 million views at least. It was like the GTA 6 trailer.
GTA 6
Just
trailer
went
of
viral.
the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Immediately.
No, I mean it's. I loved the. I mean, it's not really a reveal, but Andor totally, I think, changes the context of the Empire from being like this big, evil monolith that the rebel underdogs have to take out this that, to like this like crumbling, rotted piece of crap. That's slowly being eaten from the inside and now also being eaten from the outside, doomed to fail. and the
Yeah, and it's
people within it kind of see that and know that it's like we can't
it is
keep
beautiful.
squashing the rebels because it's just there's too many of them,
And
and
it's
that's really
flipped.
hopeful.
It's flipped from the beginning of the rebellions were getting the rebellion. The rebellion was getting their stuff together. They're a mess. The Empire was like totally, quote unquote perfect, and like they
Yeah.
had their stuff together. And now it's the flip thing of the rebellion so organized. They're on Yavin. They're very, in order. They have their stuff together.
Yeah,
And
that's
as
the
you said, the
perfect way to put
Empire's
it.
rotting away. So, but yeah, Andor,
Exactly.
very great show.
Just a little.
That's the long and the short of
How
it.
do we end this? Do we do like a rating, or do we do
So
a
you want to
thing?
do our
I'm gonna
last
rate
characters
this.
in Glups?
Yes, we have to do that. We do have to
Yeah,
do that. And then
do
we do
that.
the count. That's a huge thing. How did I forget? So
I don't know.
let's do Glup first, and then we'll do the
Glup
big
first.
one of characters of the week. We'll pick 2. So my Glup is Granny,
Granny.
hands down,
Okay.
absolutely. Glup of the season.
Glup of the season for
Yeah.
sure was Granny. You can go with Granny. I will pick Short Stack.
Explain.
I'll pick Mr.
The
Short
guy
Stack
with the
right
big-
here,
Oh, the guy
Yeah.
again.
because I could not get over this guy when I saw him. I immediately thought of AJ. I can't believe AJ didn't spot him. You have to
I
have to
don't
go
know
back.
how I didn't. I used
'Cause
to
he's
have
awesome.
that picture up here, but he's not here anymore.
Yeah, I cleared
He's-
it out. I'm sorry.
He's a classic Glup. I'm glad he was back. But yeah, I mean, Granny Glup is the best. She's so good.
Granny Glup.
Granny sweep.
I think it is like
In
granny,
the
almost
chat.
granny sweep. Yeah.
And the
Who's
fact that
next?
she might be an ET, very exciting.
She might be an ET.
She might be an extraterrestrial.
Mole Man Glup's pretty good.
Mole
Glop.
Man, yeah. Mole Man Glop.
I wonder who Jamie's gonna cook up here.
I already picked Granny.
Oh, you said Granny?
Yeah, I said it immediately.
Okay. So Granny sweep.
Granny
Yeah.
Sweep.
Although we got Mole Man in there, so character of the week time. Pick 2.
Yeah.
You pick 2. Jamie, you want to start?
Well, I have one. I can't pick a second, honestly.
Trying
I
to
mean,
think.
I picked Clea. And honestly,
Mhm,
fuck it. I'm pick Melshi as my second.
Dude,
Okay.
Melchi's the biggest bro.
I love Melshi. He's genuinely one of my favorite characters. So
Very good. Matt,
like
who do you
this.
got?
I like this comment from Phil real quick. Her grandson is an ET senator, not canon. making sure
Wow.
to tell us that. Thank you,
Yeah,
Phil.
yeah.
thank you.
Oh God, it has to be Clea, right? I mean, Clea's got to
Yeah.
be one of them.
Mhm.
She just shined in this episode completely. So we'll go with her. And my second, God, I might also pick Melshi. Because Melshi's just awesome, dude. Melshi kicked so much ass in these episodes. I mean, it could be Cassian. Cassian's awesome. Cassian's always awesome.
Yeah.
But Melshi really got to shine in these episodes. So I'm gonna go with what Jamie said.
Okay.
The same.
Same.
Okay.
So I have Clea,
Okay.
of course. Clea sweep. We got the Clea sweep. Break out your brooms. We're sweeping the streets of Andor. We're sweeping the hospital. The Lena So Memorial Hospital.
Oh my God.
And I'm picking big one, drum roll,
Drum roll.
the man who saved the galaxy from the Death Star, Lonnie Young.
Oh, you know what? Screw it. I'm taking my Melshi back. It's Lonnie. That's
All right.
that's you're absolutely right. How the hell did I not pick Lonnie? Oh,
The
So you're both
True.
Clea and Lonnie.
He
Yeah,
deserved
yeah,
the medal.
He
on
deserved
the
he
oven.
deserved the medal. He did not. He got a bullet hole in the chest. He deserved a medal on his chest instead. Oh my God. I'm never getting over Lonnie's murder. Never getting over that. Because he did. He is the guy who leaked the Death Star.
I know.
He's the beginning. Like you could say Dedra, but no. Lonnie was the guy who told the rebels about the Death Star.
I want to see like Lonnie's live reaction of finding out the Death Star news, like
Live Lonnie reaction.
yeah, live Lonnie reaction.
Dead
I can
Lonnie
tell it's in-
reaction.
It's just him slumped in the chair.
Yeah, it's the Loth cat just appearing and being like, "Meow."
Dude, Lonnie was a hero. Luthen should not have killed him. I'm sorry. I'm never getting over this. I'm
He had
never
to.
getting over that.
He
I'm
had
never
to.
getting over that. He shouldn't have killed him. Sorry.
Luthen killed himself. Of course he was going to kill Lonnie.
Nope.
It's just true. All right, you guys ready
Luthen hates
for
himself.
the full breakdown for this season for us for
Yeah,
our character? So the top 3 are as follows. Number 3 is Cassian.
Nice.
Number 5 is Mon Mothma.
Whoa.
Wait, you mean 2?
Sorry, number 2 with 5 votes. I'm just reading the numbers. It's late. I'm sorry. It's late.
Number 2 is Mon. Okay.
Number 2 is Mon. Mon, not Bon. Excuse me. Remember Bon?
Who?
You don't
The
remember
guy who ran
Bond?
the shop. You don't remember Bon?
The guy. Oh, what? Him?
Yeah,
No.
I'm
Bond.
kidding. I'm kidding. I thought I misspoke and said Bon, but I said
Okay.
Mothma.
And number 1
anyway,
is Perrin. Boop, boop, boop.
number 1 is Clea.
Woo!
Not shocking. Not
Well
surprising, dude.
deserved.
Oh, she had 2 arcs to shine in.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
Bond.
and she like swept
Who would have thought
2 weeks ago.
that the 2 of them
Yeah.
being together in that one, fantastic scene of her like gripping something so hard she bleeds, and then Lonnie being like, I don't want to be here. I want to leave. The
Lonnie.
2 of them.
No good.
We're gonna be like our final, me and AJ's final two.
Look at us.
characters.
Who would have thought?
Who would
what
thought?
Not me.
That's Lonnie and Clea.
Ah,
That's good. So Cassian being 3 is funny because Cassian's Cassian. He's consistent and he's good, but like
We
the
only
supporting
voted for him last week.
the supporting characters made this show what it is. Cassian was great, and it should follow him going into Rogue One. But
Yeah.
the supporting characters were the highlight of the show for sure. Yeah, Luthen must have had some votes, right? Must have been like 4th.
Luthen didn't have any votes.
wow.
I didn't vote
we
for
didn't pick
Luthen once.
Luthen was
No.
not really in this season, dude. I mean, he
No.
was, but
I
he
know.
wasn't. He
Not as
wasn't
much.
really in this season.
He was
Surprisingly.
outshone by other people.
Did he win last year? Did we or last season?
I don't
Did
have
we even
access to
do-
those
I don't think we
records.
did character of the week.
I don't
then.
know
Character
what
of the week.
notebook that would be in.
So let's do a count of so champion of this was Clea.
Mhm.
Skeleton Crew, who was the character of that show?
Was that
I
Fern?
don't-
It must have been Jod.
Or it might have been Jod. It was probably
Now I have to look back through my notes. Hang on. Hang on. Everybody wait.
Skeleton
Everybody
Crew,
wait.
it was Chimere.
that. You mean
Skeleton
Acolyte?
Oh jeez, sorry.
Skeleton Crew
Acolyte was
was
Chimere.
Skeleton Crew for us was Jod, SM33, then KB.
Okay.
Wow. Neil didn't make top
KB.
3.
Wow.
Neil was 4th.
Sorry, KG.
I know.
Nope. No, it wasn't Neil.
We were big Jod stands, I guess.
Dude,
Whenever
we're
Jod showed up, we were like, huh,
we're
interesting.
Jod
Slow-mo.
heads, man. Jod was just that good.
Jodheads.
Big Jod heads.
What the heck
And then
was before that?
Acolyte was
Acolyte
Chimere. I know
was
that.
Chimere for sure.
But
Did
it
we
was a
do a top
blowout.
3 for that?
Probably.
No.
And then Bad Batch was Echo.
Which is so funny.
Hey.
That's so good.
Echo's so good.
He was in like 1.5 episodes of season 3.
Yeah, official count. Chimere was for Acolyte. Yeah, and
Oh yeah, didn't you vote for
Okay.
Jod's blue shirt once?
I don't remember.
You did. We were nuts on Skeleton Crew. What a whiplash.
That was this year.
What a
don't you
whiplash
forget.
between Skeleton Crew and then this. And that is not a
Uh,
bad thing in the slightest.
Good whiplash.
It just speaks to how ungodly
The range.
versatile Star Wars is as a brand. You can't get this anywhere else, guys. Star Wars is it.
Ungodly versatile.
Ungodly versatile. This franchise is. You could do anything you want with the brand. Anything.
Courtroom
that's it.
show. And that's it. That's the show.
That's it. That's the show. Yeah, so for the blue shirt. We're not talking about the John's blue shirt. I'm actually staring at a stack of blue fabric in the closet over there, and I'm like, the
We're
blue
actually going
shirt.
to change our names to Jod's Blue Shirt. That's going to be our new podcast name. Oh,
But yeah, this has been Andor season 2 coverage from the Holonet Marauders. Thank everyone so much for joining us in the chat weekly. AJ, do you have an announcement?
No, it's more
Oh.
so stick around. Andor had their thing in the credits, but if you've been watching our thing all along, we have one final time Matt's Niamos theme. Phil, if you're still here, you're gonna wanna
You're gonna
listen
want
to
to
that.
watch this. You're gonna want to see this
Uh,
musical Easter egg.
But yeah, we've loved our little intro and our little outros that we like pop in for the beginning of our shows. We will be back in a cadence of doing about every other week or so for stream, so like stay tuned to our social media for just like what we're up to, and then we'll be back live whenever the next when the next show happens. Thank you to
Next thing
everyone
will
for joining
be
us.
September.
Yeah, so we'll be doing some stuff over the summer, so stay tuned, and we'll
Oh, yeah.
still go live from time
We'll
to
have
time.
shenanigans.
We're gonna be
we'll
looking
have
like
plenty. We'll have
SpongeBob
plenty.
in the tree dome until September, dude. We're gonna be starving.
We're still doing stuff.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to all of our business about Andor. This has been a wild 4 weeks of coverage, only 4 weeks for this show. And I don't know, we'll see you guys next time on the Holland Marauders podcast because we're a podcast, guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.